teachers, learners, and parents. Sir Jeff po, at your service. Alam nyo ba na meron tayong website na tinatawag na DepEd Commons? Ang DepEd Commons ay binuo upang gawing accessible ang pagtuturo at pag-aaral dito sa ating bansa gamit lamang ang inyong mga smart devices gaya ng cellphones, tablets, at computers. Dito ay maaari nating ma-access ang iba't ibang learning materials mula sa Department of Education. Meron itong mga interactive materials, electronic self-learning modules, at instructional video lessons mula sa DepEd TV na tiyak na makatutulong sa pag-aaral ng mga mag-aaral galing ka man sa public o private school. Walang problema dahil welcome ang lahat dito. Para ito sa mga guro, magulang at mga mag-aaral mula sa kinder hanggang grade 12, alternative learning system o ALS, at pati na rin ang special education. At huwag kang mag-alala dahil kahit walang load ay maaari mong ma-access ang mga learning materials. Tama! Libre ito. Ang kailangan mo lamang gawin ay i-on ang iyong data at buksan lamang ang iyong browser at i-type ang commons.deped.gov.ph. Alam na ba ng iyong mga kasamahang guro o mag-aral ang tungkol sa DepEd Commons? I-share mo na ang video na ito upang matuto rin sila kung paano gagamitin ang DepEd Commons sa mabilis at napakadaling paraan. Muli, ito po si Sir Jeff at kita-kits po tayo sa DepEd Commons. Paalam!
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETULay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETULay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICT's Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na Pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETULay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Hello Sir Renzel, good afternoon. We're on live para sa ating Science 3. Good luck!
Okay, hello po. Good morning, good afternoon po sa ating lahat. Sa lahat ng manonood ngayong araw, sa ating mga mag-aaral, sa ating mga magulang, sa ating mga kaguruan, at sa lahat ng nanonood dito sa ating DepEd Edtech ETULay online tutorial. Muli ako ang inyong lingkod, ang inyong tutor for this day, Tutor Renzel, para magbigay sa inyo ng mga kaalaman, particularly sa mga kabataan or sa mga grade 7 students. So it's science time. Yan. So magandang hapon po sa lahat ng mga nakatutok ngayong araw. Muli ay patuloy akong nag-i-invite sa inyo para i-share ang ating mga online tutorial sa ating DepEd Edtech Unit, sa DepEd Philippines at sa DepEd tayo. At patuloy din kayong mag-subscribe at tumutok sa ating mga DepEd YouTube channels. So kung kayo ay nakahanda na ngayong araw, so tayo ay magsisimula na sa ating pag-aaralan ngayong araw. So ngayon, ang ating pag-aaralan ay week 7 na ng ating module sa Science 7. So, nakaraan ang pinag-aralan natin ay yung ating biotic and abiotic factors in the ecosystem. So, ngayon naman ay may bago tayong matututunan at pag-aaralan. So, sa mga bata dyan, sa mga mag-aaral ng grade 7, I'm sure na ready na kayong magsagot ng inyong mga module at tumutok ngayong araw. Ang ating topic ngayong araw ay ang ecological relationships in the ecosystem. So ano ba yung ano bang nangyayari or ano ba yung interaction na nangyayari sa mga organisms sa ating ecosystem or sa ating environment. Pero bago yan, dapat malaman natin ano ba yung mga objectives or nilalaman o yung goal natin ngayong araw. We were going to identify the relationships exist among organisms in a community. Ano nga ba yung mga relationships or yung mga interaction na nangyayari sa isang organism at yung pakikipag-interact niya into other organisms sa isang community. Yan. Bago tayo magkaroon ng formal na pagsisimula ng ating pag-aaralan ngayon ay magkaroon muna tayo ng konting review muna. Review or recap sa ating mga topic last time, particularly yung biotic and abiotic factors in the ecosystem. So we have here a game called the 4 Picks 1 Word. Alam ko, ay alam niyo na yan, yung mga ganitong mga games. So ang gagawin nila, huhulaan nyo lang yung ating word gamit ang mga clues natin, yung ating 4 different pictures na magbibigay sa inyo ng clues to answer our right word. Okay, so let's start. So we have here different pictures and we have here yung ating words na inyong sasagutan. So base kaya dun sa ating 4 na mga pictures, ano kaya yung may isip yung word for that? Sige, comment na kayo para malaman natin kung may natutunan ba kayo sa ating last topic. Yan, bibigay ako ng ibang mga clues. A group of organisms of the same species which interbreed and live in the same area at the same time. So ano kaya yan? Yan, meron tayong given clues dito, letter O, letter L, letter T, at letter N. Good afternoon po. Yan, kay Ma'am Felisa. Okay, very good. Ating sagot ay and B, population. So population is a group of organisms with the same species that lives in a same area or a same place. So naninirahan sa isang lugar na pare-parehas ng isang species. Very good. Dang Castro. Okay, next natin. Ano naman kaya itong ating second na panghulaan? Yan, we have here different pictures and we have given clues. And we have here 8 letters. An organism that can produce its own food using light, water, and carbon dioxide. Yan. Gamit yung ating 4 na pictures, ano kaya yung ating right word sa ating second na pinahulaan? Ano daw yung tawag sa mga organism na kayang makapag-manufacture at makapag-produce ng kanilang sariling pagkain gamit lang ang sunlight, ang water, and carbon dioxide. Okay, very good. We have the producer. Or in other term, ay tinatawag natin as the autotrophs. Ang examples niya na yung mga halaman. Pangatlo, and we have yung ating rocks, sunlight, sand, yung ating dagat. We have here 7 letters, and we have yung ating mga clues, letter B, O, letter C. Ano kaya ito? A non-living part of an ecosystem that shapes its environment. Ano kaya yung tawag sa mga non-living na nagkakaroon ng part sa ating ecosystem na tumutulong for the plants, animals, and sa ating mga living organism to survive? Ano yung tawag doon? Okay, very good si Lesa Santianes. We have the, yan, alam na alam yung ating topic last time. We have the abiotic or the abiotic factors. Last one. And we have here 7 letters. And we have different clues. Letter H, B, T, at yung mga clues natin gamit yung ating mga pictures. The place or environment where a plant or animal naturally or normally live and grow. Ito yung tahanan ng isang species na commonly dun sila naninirahan, dun sila nag-grow, and dun sila naninirahan at nagsusurvive. Ano yung tawag doon? Yan, we have 7 letters. Starts with letter H. Okay, very good. Done. We have the habitat. Yung habitat ay yung tirahan ng ating mga species. So, ngayon, pag-aaralan na natin ang ating focus for this week, week 7, is about the ecological relationship or interaction ng isang species into other organism in our environment. So, kailangan natin makipag-interact tayo as a living organism. Kailangan natin makipag-interact into other living organism for us to survive. Ang mga hayop, halaman, at ang mga tao ay kailangang makipag-interact sa ibang species in order to survive. Pero bago yan, dapat malaman natin yung word na predation. So predation is a biological interaction where one organism, the predator, kills and eats other organism na tinatawag natin as a prey. So itong predation na ating tinatawag ay common na nangyayari sa ating environment. Sabi nga dito, a biological interaction, pakikipag-interact ng isang organism sa isa pang organism. Yan. At meron tayong tinatawag na predator to prey or predator and prey relationship. So ano ba yung interaction na nangyayari sa predator and prey? Pero bago yan, dapat malaman natin ano ba yung predator, ano ba yung prey. Yung predator is an organism that primarily obtains food by the killing and consuming of other organism. So meaning, yung predator is a kind of an organism na kumukuha ng pagkain sa pamamagitan ng pagpatay at pagkain ng iba pang organism. Usually or commonly, ang mga predator, sila yung mas malalaki doon sa mga kinakain nila. Siyempre, kapag mas malaki ka, mas matatakot sa yung ibang organism. So meaning, ang predator, yun yung mga organism na kayang pumatay at mag-obtain ng food by killing other organism. Siyempre, sino ba yung kakainin nila? Yun naman yung ating tinatawag na prey. Prey is an animal hunted or caught by another for food. Kung yung predator, yung kumakain ng mga organism, yung kakainin naman nila, usually, yung mga maliliit na organism, sila yung nagsiserve as our prey. So, yung mga kinakain ng predator ay tinatawag natin as a prey. So, we have the predator and prey relationship. Okay, dito sa ating given picture, we have yung ating cat at yung ating mouse. So, tingin nyo, sino kaya sa kanila yung nagsiserve as a predator at sino yung nagsiserve as a prey? Again, yung predator, yung kumakain ng organism, yung pumapatay at kumakain ng organism, at yung prey, yung kinakain naman ng ating predator. So, sa cat and mouse relationship, sino kaya dyan ang nagsiserve as our predator? Again, yung predator yung pumapatay at kumakain ng mga organism, at yung prey yung ating kinakain, yung kinakain ng isang predator. Okay, yung predator natin, yun yung ating cat. Kasi kung mapapansin nyo, siya yung nag-hunt, yung nagkikil, at kumakain ng ating mouse. At kung papansin nyo din, yung predator, commonly or usually, mas malaki sila dun sa ating prey. At yung prey naman natin, yung nagsiserve as yung mouse naman natin, yung nagsiserve as our prey. Sila naman yung kinakain ng ating mga predator in order for the predators to survive. So, yun yung ating predator to prey relationship. So, in every ecological relationship, nangyayari yung ating predator to prey relationship. So, kung naintindihan niyo yung ating last na pinag-aralan, alamin nga natin dito kung sino ang mga predator at sino ang mga prey. Yan, we have a lion and zebra. So, mapapansin niyo sa ating picture, yan, sino kaya dyan ang nagsiserve as our predator? Sino kaya ang nagsiserve as our prey? Unahin natin yung predator. Ulitin natin yung predator, yun yung ating animal or organism na kumakain ng prey. Sila yung nag-hunt ng organism na mas maliliit para sila ay maka-survive. Okay, ang predator natin dyan is yung ating lion. Kung mapapansin nyo naman dito sa ating picture, yung predator, kinakain niya yung ating zebra, which is serve as our prey. Yun. Sa pangalawa naman nating picture, we have yung dolphins at yung fish na kanyang kinakain. So ito din ay isang example ng predator to prey relationship. Na yung dolphin nagsiserve as our predator, while yung ating fish, yung nagsiserve as our prey. Yan. So si dolphin, kailangan niyang mabuhay, so kailangan niyang kumain. Usually, ang kakainin niya, yung kaya niyang patayin. Which is yung makikita niya din sa kanyang habitat. Which is yung pinakamalapit is yung fish, na yung fish yung nagsiserve natin as a prey. Yan, good afternoon sa mga nanonood. Kay Bianca Angela Directo. Ngayon naman, pag-aaralan natin, connected to sa ating last topic kanina, yung symbiotic relationship. Symbiosis is a relationship or a close relationship between two species in which at least one species benefit. Means na yung ating symbiosis, ito yung kind ng relationship or kind ng interaction ng organism into other organism where at least may isang nagbe-benefit. Pag sinabi natin nagbe-benefit, nakakakuha siya ng kapakinabangan dun sa isang organism na kanyang makakasalamuha or kanyang dun magkakaroon ng interaction sa dalawa. And we have three kinds of symbiotic relationship. We have the mutualism, the commensalism, and the last one is the parasitism. So, iisa-isahin natin yung kinds of symbiotic relationship. Again, yung symbiosis, ito yung relationship or interaction ng organism into other organism with at least one. Kailangan may isang organism na mag-benefit or magkaroon ng kapakinabangan dun sa isang organism. Yan. So, yung first natin is the mutualism. So, mutualism, both organisms benefit from the relationship. Meaning, dito sa ating first kind of symbiotic relationship, yung mutualism na tinatawag, yung dalawang organism na nagkakaroon ng interaction ay nagkakaroon ng benefit sa isa't isa. Ibig sabihin, nagkakaroon yung isang organism ng kapakinabangan dun sa isa pang organism na kanyang makakasalamuha. Yan, we have here yung ating given pictures. We have the alligator and yung ating bird. Paano kaya nagkakaroon ng mutualism, ng process ng mutualism dito sa ating, sa interaction ng alligator at ng bird? Yan, sabi, the alligator gets its teeth cleaned by the bird, while the bird gets its food from the alligator's teeth. So meaning, ng mutualism, pareha silang nagkaroon ng benefit. For example, dito sa ating pictures, yung alligator, yan, nalinis yung kanyang teeth. Kasi nga, may mga pagkain yun na kinain naman ng ating mga birds. So yung birds natin, kumuha siya ng pagkain dun sa teeth ng alligator, at yung alligator naman ay nalinis ang kanyang mga ngipin. Ibig sabihin, nagkaroon sila ng benefit sa isa't isa. Ibig sabihin, napakinabangan ni alligator si bird dahil nalinis yung kanyang teeth, at si bird naman, napakinabangan niya din si alligator kasi nag-serve yun as kanyang food or naging food source yun ng ating bird. So, ibig sabihin, nagkaroon sila ng benefit sa isa't isa. So, yun yung mutualism. Dito sa pangalawa nating picture, we have yung bees, we have yung ating flower. Paano kaya nagkakaroon ng mutualism dito sa ating picture? Anyone? Anong ginagawa ba ng bees sa flower? Bakit nandiyan ang ating mga bees? Kumukuha sila ng okay, sabi dito, bees gather nectar and spread pollen from the flowers to reproduce. Meaning, nagkakaroon ng mutualism dito sa ating bees and flower relationship kapag yung bees ay nakakakuha na ng nectar at nakakakuha din ng pollen sa ating flower. Bakit? Kasi yung nectar nagsiserve as a food ng ating bees at yung pollen na nandoon sa ating flower ay sumasama sa hairs ng ating bees na natatransfer into other flowers para magkaroon ng tinatawag na pollination process. So, para yung flower mag-reproduce, di ba sila nga ay example ng isang asexual reproduction. So, para makapag-reproduce yung ating flower, kailangan matransfer yung pollen nila into other flower para magkaroon ng reproduction process or yung asexual reproduction. So, si bees, nagkaroon siya ng benefit kay ating flower kasi nga nag-serve to as kanyang food source. At si flower din naman ay nagkaroon ng kapakinabangan dun sa ating bees kasi natulungan ng bees yung ating flower na na mapabilis yung reproduction process by transferring of pollen. So sila ay nagkaroon ng kapakinabangan sa isa't isa. So yun yung tatandaan nyo pag mutualism. Pareha silang nagkaroon ng benefit. Ikalawa naman natin ay yung commensalism. Ano kayang pagkakaiba ng commensalism sa mutualism? Commensalism, one species benefit and the other is unaffected. Pag sinabi naman natin commensalism, yung isa nagbe-benefit, sabihin yung isa natutulungan niya yung isang species, pero yung isa hindi naman siya naaapektuhan. Walang nangyayari dun sa isang organism, pero yung isang organism ay nagkakaroon ng benefit dun sa isang organism. Ito ang isang halimbawa. Yan. We have the tree frog at yung plant natin, yung plants natin. So, paano kaya naging commensalism itong ating tree frog na nasa ating plants? Again, yung commensalism, yung isang species nagkakaroon ng benefit, pero yung isa ay unaffected. Pag sinabi natin unaffected, hindi siya naapektuhan, walang benefit sa kanya yung isang organism. Tatandaan nyo kapag symbiotic relationship, at least one organism ay nagkakaroon ng benefit into another. Kaya nasabing commensalism itong tree, frog, and plants relationship kasi yung tree frog ginagamit nila yung mga halaman for their protection. Pero yung plant, wala naman siya nakukuhang benefit dun sa ating tree frog. Ibig sabihin, ang nag-benefit lang dito sa ating picture ay yung tree frog. Kasi nga, nagsiserve as a protection niya. For example, kapag kakainin na siya ng predator na pwedeng kumain sa kanya, pwede niyang pagtaguan yung ating plants para maprotektahan siya sa pagkain ng predator. Pero yung plants, unaffected. Ibig sabihin, wala siyang nakukuhang benefit dun sa ating tree frog. Yun yung tinatawag natin as commensalism. May isang nagbe-benefit at yung isa naman ay hindi naaapektuhan. Yan. Meron pa tayong isang example dito, yung ating cattle or yung ating baka at yung egret bird. Sa tingin nyo, ano kaya yung kanilang relationship? Sino kaya dito yung nakikinabang? Yung nagkakaroon ng benefit dun sa ating isang organism. Yung egret bird ba o yung cattle? Sa tingin nyo, sino ang nagbe-benefit? Yung cattle or yung egret bird? Yan, base sa ating pictures. Again, commensalism, may isang nagbe-benefit at may isang unaffected. So dito sa picture na ating nakikita, yung egret birds, yan, eat the insects stirred up by cattle when they are grazing. So meaning, yung ating egret bird, siya yung nagkakaroon ng benefit dun sa ating pakikipag-interact niya sa cattle. It means na yung egret bird yung nagkakaroon ng kapakinabangan dun sa ating cattle. Bakit? Kasi mapapansin nyo, di ba, yung mga baka, yung mga ibang species na may mga insects na dumadapo sa kanila. So, yung egret birds, yung insects na dumadapo dun sa cattle, kinakain niya yon. So, nagsiserve yun as kanyang food source. Ibig sabihin, nagkaroon siya ng kapakinabangan or nagkaroon siya ng benefit. Kasi nakatulong yung cattle para makakuha siya ng pagkain. Pero yung cattle ay unaffected. It means na yung cattle ay hindi naman siya nagkaroon ng benefit doon sa ating egret bird. Sabihin, hindi naman nagkaroon ng tulong yung egret bird natin doon sa cattle. Kaya nasabing siya ay isang halimbawa ng commensalism. May isang nag-benefit, yung isa unaffected or walang nangyari. Ito yung huli nating kind of symbiotic relationship. We have the parasitism. Sa tatlo, ito yung medyo harmful sa three kinds of symbiotic relationship. Bakit? Ano ba ang parasitism? Yan. One species benefit and the other is harmed. Kung mapapansin nyo, yung isa daw ay nagbe-benefit, pero yung isa naman ay napapahamak. Yung nagbe-benefit, usually yun yung mga parasite natin. At yung mga nahaharm, usually yung mga host natin. Yung parasite, yun yung mga living organisms. Usually, yung iba dyan, microorganisms na tumitira sa isang body ng ating host. Yung host naman, yung isang organism na pwedeng pamahayan or maging food source ng ating parasite. Isang halimbawa dito, yan, yung nakikita nyo na dog and yung ticks, yung garapata. Isa siyang example ng parasitism. Bakit? Sabi dito, yan, ticks serve as our parasite. Parasite that live on a dog, which serve as our host, bites to drink blood. Again, pag parasitism, yung isa nagbe-benefit, yung isa napapahamak. Sino yung nag-benefit dito? Yung ating ticks, yung ating garapata. Bakit? Nakakuha siya ng blood dun sa ating dog na nagsiserve as sa kanyang food source. Pero yung dog, siya yung nagsiserve natin as host, yung pinapamahayan o tinitirahan ng ating parasite na nahaharm. Ibig sabihin ng nahaharm, nagkakaroon ng effect sa kanyang body. Ibig sabihin, napapahamak siya. So, mapapansin nyo, yung ticks, nagkakaroon siya ng benefit kasi nga, gamit lang yung pag-bite niya, nakakuha na siya ng pagkain. Yung atin namang aso ay nahaharm. Pwede siya kasing magkasakit kapag madami na yung ticks sa kanyang body. Siyempre, yung blood niya, di ba? Ay, yung blood ng aso nagsiserve as a food ng ating ticks, kaya siya yung nagbe-benefit, pero napapahamak naman yung ating mga aso kasi pwede silang magkasakit. Yan, isa pang halimbawa natin, we have yung tapeworms at isang example pa rin natin is yung dog natin. Ito naman, mapapansin nyo nasa loob naman ng katawan natin o katawan ng ating mga host. Isa pa rin siyang example ng parasitism. Yan. Paano kaya naging parasitism yung ating tapeworm and dog relationship? The tapeworm attaches to the intestinal wall of the dog and takes nutrients consumed by the dog. Ibig sabihin, yung tapeworm na nasa loob ng nasa intestinal wall ng body ng ating dog, yun yung nagsiserve as our parasite. Siya yung nagbe-benefit. Kasi pwede yung makakuha siya ng nutrients dun sa body ng ating dog. Pero, meron din tayong napapahamak, yung host natin, yung pinapamahaya ng ating parasite na dito sa ating example is yung aso. Kawawa naman yung ating dog. Kasi, yung tapeworm nga ay nagkakaroon ng benefit sa ating dog, pero yung dog naman ay napapahamak. So, pwede siyang magkaroon ng sakit at pwede siyang mamatay kapag hindi ito naagapan. Kaya sa may mga dogs dyan, alagaan natin yung ating mga dogs. Yan, para yung mga tapeworms, yung mga pwedeng parasite na pumasok sa kanila ay mapatay or hindi maging healthy yung ating dogs. And yung ating parasitism, nahati siya into two. We have the ectoparasites. May mga tinatawag tayo, may different kinds of parasites tayo. Yung una yung ectoparasites. So ano ba yung mga ectoparasites? A parasite that feed on the external part of the host. Ito yung mga parasite na makikita nyo na kumakain ng blood pero nasa labas lang ng body ng ating mga host. For example yan yung lice, yung ating mga kuto, di ba? Yung gisa, yung mga ganyan. Example siya ng ectoparasites na example ng parasite na makikita nyo lang sa labas ng body. Usually, yung lice, syempre nakikita sa ulo. Yan, sa ticks naman, yung mga ticks and fleas, yung garapata, pulga sa mga aso naman, nakikita nyo lang din, di ba, sa labas. And yung leech natin, yan, nakikita nyo din, isa siyang parasite na nasa labas lang ng body. Hindi siya pumapasok sa loob ng body ng ating mga host. So, tinatawag yan as the ectoparasite. Siyempre, we also have another is the endoparasites. Ano naman yung endoparasites? Kabaligtaran naman ng ectoparasites yung endoparasite. Endoparasite is a parasite that feed on the internal part of the host. Kung yung ecto nasa labas, yung endo naman nasa loob. Isang halimbawa, yung mga bakterya. Diba, nasa loob yan ng katawan ng isang host. At yung kanina nga, yung tapeworm natin. So, yan yung mga halimbawa ng endoparasite. Parasite na namumuhay sa loob ng katawan ng isang host. Yan yung tinatawag natin as the endoparasite. So, naintindihan nyo na yung pagkakaiba ng ecto at ng endoparasite. Ito, nangyayari din ito sa ating symbiotic relationship. Yung tinatawag natin as the competition. Two organisms of the same or different species attempt to use an ecological resource in the same place at the same time. Bakit nagkakaroon ng competition ng mga organism? Siyempre, kailangan nilang mabuhay, kailangan nilang magkaroon ng pagkain, kailangan nilang magkaroon ng tubig, kailangan nilang maprotektahan yung kanilang shelter for survival. Kaya hindi may iwasan yung competition sa isang environment. Katulad sa mga halimbawa, yan, yung ating ramps. Nagkakaroon ng competition, pwedeng nag-aagawan sila sa food source. Yan, pwedeng pinoprotektahan nila yung kanilang habitat. At pwede din naman, kaya sila nag-aaway is para maprotektahan yung kanilang mga anak, yung kanilang asawa. So, kaya nagkakaroon ng competition. Dito naman sa pangalawang, mapapansin nyo, nagkakaroon naman ng kakulangan sa pagkain. Kaya yung dalawang organisms ay nagkakaroon ng competition. Di ba nga, uso ang survival of the fittest dito sa ating environment. Na kung sino yung matatag, kung sino yung kayang makakuha ng pagkain, ng water, at naprotektahan yung kanilang shelter, sila yung mas may chance na makapag-survive. In your learning task 2, and study the words below, match each to their correct description presented in numbers 1 to 10. Write your answer in your answer sheet. So meaning dito sa learning task 2, alamin niyo lang kung ano ba yung tamang word na dinidescribe dito sa ating mga given. For example, sa number 1, a relationship in which one species benefit while the other receives neither benefit nor harm. Ano kaya yan? Anong tawag dun sa relationship na yung isang species nagbe-benefit, pero yung isa naman ay unaffected or hindi siya naapektuhan? Sige nga, kayo nga yung sumagot. Anong tawag dun sa relationship na yun? Is it competition, commensalism, mutualism, predation, parasitism? Isang species nagbe-benefit, pero yung isa unaffected, walang nangyayari sa kanya. So, nagiging kasangkapan lang siya ng isang species para mag-serve as a food source. So, sagutan niyo yan. Ang tamang sagot ay commensalism. Another, one species benefit and individuals of the other species are harmed. Ito naman, yung isang species nagbe-benefit siya, pero yung isa naman napapahamak. Anong type ng kind ng symbiotic relationship yun? Di parasitism. Number 3, paano naman kapag yung parehas species ay nagbe-benefit? Yun naman ay mutualism. So yung 4 to 10, bibigyan ko kayo ng time para masagutan yung ating learning task 2. Nagbigay na ako ng ibang mga sagot dito sa ating learning task 2 at alam kong kayang-kaya nyong sagutan yung iba pang mga tanong dito sa ating module. Ano bang kahalagahan ng symbiotic relationship? Bakit mahalaga yung symbiotic relationship? Bakit kaya kailangang mag-exist yung symbiotic relationship sa ating environment? It is important because the cooperation and networking among species allows them to survive better than they would as individual. So mahalaga yung symbiotic relationship in order for us to survive. Kasi di ba nakakuha tayo ng food, ng water sa ibang mga species or organism. So para mabuhay tayo, kailangan natin yung pakikipag-interact sa ibang mga organism. Kaya napakahalaga ng symbiotic relationship. Allows them to survive better than they would as individual. Pag individual kasi, pag ikaw lang, hindi mo kayang mabuhay. So, kailangan makipag-interact ka sa ibang tao, sa ibang hayop, even sa halaman, para makapag-survive. At sana ay may natutunan kayo ngayong araw tungkol sa ating pinag-aralan about ecological relationship, the symbiotic relationship. So, patuloy lang kayong makinig at manood ng ating mga online class dito sa ating DepEd ETULay para magkaroon kayo ng information. Again, maraming salamat sa inyong lahat.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETULay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula alauna ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETULay free online tutorial session sa English. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETULay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!
Cognizant to the needs of our learners, parents, and teachers, the Department of Education provided us with powerful tools for productivity that will allow us to foster critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, communication and collaboration skills to be compassionate, responsible global citizens. Join us and discover new ideas in our series of professional development training program with the ICTS Edtech Unit and Microsoft Education Philippines. Together, we will equip our learners and empower our fellow educators for a dynamic future. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Sulong Edukalidad.
Good day, this is Teacher Rowan. I'll be your guide in exploring Google Apps for Education, for teaching and learning. In Google for Education, teachers can connect and collaborate easily while staying on task. It gives teachers the freedom to spend more time personalizing the learning experience and less time managing it. Students can learn essential skills such as 21st century problem solving, which they can use it in their future careers. As such, the accessibility features will also help and assist every learner to do their best work. Google offers different useful applications that we can use to connect education to technology. This will help our teachers as a 21st century educators to innovate and find ways on how to make teaching and learning more exciting, engaging, effective, and flexible to the demands of the society. Let's re-explore the education experience by discovering new angles to create, collaborate, and communicate as one. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Ang pagkatuto huwag gawing komplikado. Sulong Edukalidad.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETULay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula alauna ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETULay free online tutorial session sa English. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETULay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETULay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETULay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICTS Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na Pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETULay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
What's up, guys? So, how are you doing today? Well, again, this is Sir Z, and I welcome you back to Science 8 here in Edtech Unit para sa ating tutorial, okay? So, what I have here is, our previous topic was, diba, comets and asteroids and the meteoroids. I went out after that episode and I spoke to a number of grade 8 students and they requested, Sir, nandun pa lang kami sa typhoon. So today, class, we will be dealing with typhoons so that I'll be able to help you out on your end, okay? So let me just go share this screen of mine. Screen sharing. And I'm going to select my main screen, which is actually the pages of the modules. So I hope you are seeing what is on my screen right now. There we go. Okay, so before we study the extensively yung topic po natin today, we're gonna take a look on the background of this lesson, okay? So, what are the details kung paano naging typhoon siya? What are the different types of typhoons? And our module says this lesson will help you understand the concept of typhoon formation. So, paano na nga ba nabubuo ang typhoon? And then after going through this lesson, you are expected to explain how typhoon develops and how it is affected by land masses and bodies of water, okay? So, first things first, the other term for typhoon, diba, is bagyo. And also, there is another term, cyclone. Saan ba nanggaling yung salitang cyclone? If you're familiar, class, with the monster with one eye at the forehead, so diba, it's like, yung parang typhoon na umiikot is like a big monster with an eye, a single eye. So, galing din yung word na yon. Tapos, sinamahan pa ng salitang cyclone. So, cyclone means umiikot. So, that's the reason why we have the word cyclone. It came from the words, the one-eyed monster, which is a cyclops, and also the word cyclone. Okay? So, let's go ahead and talk about this typhoon topic for today. It says here on a lesson, typhoons can hit the Philippines any time of the year. O nga naman, syempre, di ba? We experienced a lot of typhoons in the previous years, with the months of June to September being most active and May the least active. So you're gonna need to take note of that, okay? So June to September is the most active months for typhoons here in the Philippines. Tapos pagdating ng May, it's the month in the year that we experience least occurrence of typhoons. And then, sabi dito sa ating module, anyways, class, I'm just guiding you on how to understand the lesson so that you'll be able to answer your activities in the module effectively and with confidence, okay? So what is a typhoon? It says here on our module, says, tropical cyclone, also called typhoon or bagyo in our country, are intense circular storm that originates from over warm tropical oceans, okay? So basically, class, para masabi mong mabubuo ang isang typhoon, it's actually a mass of air, okay? A mass of air that is moving over the hot regions of the sea. We call that in science doldrum, yung area ng water which is above and below the equator. So once the masses of air hits each other, and since they are moving, they will continue to move and they will go in circling motion, okay? So as more and more clouds and rain clouds are being attracted to this circling motion, doon po nabubuo ang isang typhoon or isang bagyo. And when it gets massively in terms of size and it moves towards the land, yun na. We will be experiencing heavy rains, thunderstorms, and all sorts of those rainy experience that we get kapag typhoon season na, okay? And then it says here it is characterized by low atmospheric pressure, high winds, and heavy rain. By the way, I'm going to check your comment section. I was not able to do that last time, but just in case you have some questions regarding our topic, I'm gonna try to answer it so that I'll be able to help you out with your lesson. And let's go to your comment section. We got all right. So some people who are watching us are, yes, we got Danielle Marjo Solis. Hello, ma'am. Mac Beer Jaime. Kathleen Reyes. Good afternoon po, watching from Monica ES Elementary School. And Fernando Pascual. Jesse Salon Rosales. All right. Guys, if you have questions, feel free to ask questions because this is not a structured session. It's just a tutorial session. And I'm here to help you out with your module, okay? The pivot module that we are using. Okay, going back, you can see in the picture, right? Like I said a while ago, in figure 1, it says here, super typhoon as seen from high above the earth. At the center is the eye of the super typhoon. And this is an image by theguardian.com. I already told you a while ago that the word typhoon, the other term is cyclone. It originated from two words, which is the cyclops. Which is a one-eyed monster, just like what we see in this photograph, and also cycle, which is a circular movement. All right, so do nag-originate yun. The picture above shows how strong the typhoon is, and we can see the white clouds in the spiral motion. Ito yung mga rain clouds that are being pulled in by the circular motion of the winds that have hit each other and started moving in circles. And then as they develop into a massive size, doon na mabubuo yung ating bagyo. The term typhoon is just only in the northwestern part. Sa atin lang po yun, okay? Of the Pacific Ocean. Because when you go to Western countries, they do not use the word typhoon. Take note of that, okay? In our regions, we use the word typhoon, but when it comes to Western countries like the United States, they use the word hurricane, okay? So, sometimes it gets confusing kasi pag nanonood tayo ng TV, pag nandun sa Asia, sabi typhoon. Bakit pag napunta sa ibang bansa, hurricane na? Nagbago ba ang lakas? Nagbago ba ang speed? No, it just so happens that they are using two different terms pagdating sa pag-identify or pag-label ng bagyo. Alright? Tropical cyclone wind signals. Ano ba itong tropical cyclone wind signals? When I was teaching this, actually, it's a good thing that we are following the MELT, diba? Kasi this is also a topic for grade 6 or grade 5. So when you say tropical cyclone wind signal, this is the speed of the wind brought in by the typhoon. It is not how heavy the rain is. It is not how big the cloud is. It's more about how strong the wind is. So ang sinusukat natin dito base sa pag-asa, okay? Yung ating nagmo-monitor ng ating weather, it is not about how big or long a storm is. It's more about how strong the wind kasi ito yung magda-damage sa atin. Ano na lang yung parang side effect na lang yung mga baha-baha, especially in places na hindi masyadong inalagaan yung environment. So we're more focused on understanding yung lakas ng hangin na dala nitong bagyo. It says here on our module, on page 23, when PAG-ASA monitors the tropical cyclones and it enters the PAR or the Philippine Area of Responsibility and it is constantly in motion, generally toward the Philippines, then it is time to issue warning signals, okay? So they will identify what is the speed of this incoming cyclone or typhoon so that we will know what kind of preparation we need to do, okay? The public storm warning signal number over a threatened or affected locality may be sequentially upgraded or downgraded. Ibig sabihin, as the storm is approaching, we can upgrade or downgrade yung signal na kailangan nating i-publish sa public kasi yun ang pagbabasehan natin ng ating preparasyon. Kailangan ba nating dun lang sa bahay or do we need to move to higher places? Okay? So we are going to refer to table 2 for the revised public storm warning system. Okay? All right. So here we got 4 categories of typhoon. Actually, of the storm. Okay? We got tropical depression. I am referring to this box here. Okay? We got tropical depression, which is actually the weakest. Okay? When it comes to storms, typhoon, cyclones, tropical depression is the weakest. It only has 64 maximum speed kilometer of wind. Okay? So it's safe just to get in our homes. So wala namang magiging problema. Maybe we just need to secure kung hindi masyadong matibay ang ating bahay. Okay? That's tropical depression. Again, that's the weakest. Okay? We move to the next level, which is tropical storm. Okay? So medyo kailangan na talagang patibayan ng ating mga bahay dito. 118 maximum speed kilometer per hour. And then we have typhoon. Okay, live typhoon, and it has 200 maximum speed kilometer per hour. And of course, we got the super typhoon, which is greater than 200. Okay, when you say greater than 200, oh nako, lilipad na yung mga puno natin yan, yung mga bahay na madaling buhatin, lilipad na. Okay, so again, we have 4 categories for our storms. Okay, we got a tropical depression, we got a tropical storm, typhoon, super typhoon, and the tropical depression being the weakest, and super typhoon is being the strongest with greater than 200 kilometer per hour wind speed. Okay? So, ayun, maraming na tayong mga audience na nakikinig, and I hope guys na I'm going to be able to share to you what you need para sa inyong modules, okay? So, para matulungan ko kayo. Okay? All right. Let's now move to the next part, which is the table number 2, revised public storm warning system. Okay? So, public storm warning system, yun yung PSWS doon sa gilid. We got the number 1, number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Of course, the number 1 is the weakest, and number 5 is the strongest. Okay? So, just stand by pala ba? Medyo nagkaka-lowbat yung aking laptop. Okay, I'm just gonna go grab my charger, which is connected to my other monitor. Yes, I'm sorry about that kasi medyo marami akong paperworks na ginawa. Nalobat tuloy ang aking laptop. There we go. Okay, so let's talk about the public storm warning signal. Number 1, which is 36 hours. When you say lead time class, it talks about how long it will take for the storm to reach land. Okay, so PSW is the public storm warning signal. The lead time is how long it will take for the storm or the typhoon to reach land. And then we got the wind speed and the impact of the wind. So for number 1, okay. For number 1, we got 36 hours. So matagal-tagal pa, okay? So there's no damage to very light damage. So okay pa naman. We got 30 to 60 kilometers per hour. Number 2, 24 hours before it reach land, okay? 62 to 120 kilometers per hour wind speed. And it is ang wind strength niya is light to moderate ang magiging damage. Number 3 is we got 18 hours before it reaches land. 121 to 170 wind kilometer per hour ang kanyang wind speed, and moderate to heavy damage. This is the part na nagkakaroon na ng evacuation sa mga baryo-baryo. Number 4, 12 hours, and number 5, 12 hours. So ibig sabihin maya-maya lang nandyan na yung bagyo. So we got 171 to 220 kilometer per hour wind speed para sa number 4. And then we got the more than 220 kilometer per hour wind speed para sa number 5. Parehas silang 12 hours nandyan na. The only difference is that yung wind para sa number 5 is sobrang damaging na. Okay? It says here, when a weather disturbance enters the Philippine area of responsibility, the Weather Bureau begins to monitor it and then to know where the PAR is going to strike. Okay, so I'm looking at your comment section, at the comment section, because I'm waiting for someone to ask questions. And so far, we only got greetings from Lemonade. Hello po. Adela Jolina Silutan. Hello po. Thank you for watching po, ma'am. Jugal, Friedrich, Ryzen Janri, Steves, Glice, Gage, Swing, Seblario, Richo, Acabal, Batikos. If you have question, feel free to throw your questions, okay? And then, we're gonna go to your first learning task. Okay? So, ganun, bakit, sir? We go to our learning task agad? That's because when it comes to Typhoon class, when it comes to studying Typhoon, we are only talking about yung wind speed. Okay? So what kind of wind speed do we have? Is it damaging enough for us to move to higher grounds, or is it just light to moderate damage lang? So para magtago lang tayo sa safety ng ating mga bahay. And since we're done with that, we're gonna move to this part here that says learning task 1. Okay, so I'm gonna help you out. If you got the same module class that we are using here, which is a pivot, this is exactly what you're going to do. Okay, learning task 1, analyze and give an interpretation about each picture below. Okay, so write your answer in your answer sheet, sabi niya dito. So when a question asks you to give your own interpretation, you just need to give your own ideas and thoughts. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 1, it shows a scene kung saan nagkaroon ng damage already. All right, so come up with a good answer with that one. Come up with a good sentence, a good phrase, a good paragraph. Just go ahead. Okay, and then number 2, it is a satellite image of a cyclone. So use the things that I just said a while ago about the description of cyclone. Right? So that's for number 2. I'm going to give you my own answers, but you need to come up with your own words, okay? Number 3, that is how the winds are getting attracted to the cycling movement sa air. Which is, of course, sabi ko nga kanina, nandoon sa doldrum area, which is the bottom or the lower and the upper edge of the equator. Okay, that's for number 3. And for number 4, it's the same thing. Dagdagan nyo lang, for example, ng temperature. Warm temperature causes water vapor to rise up, and it adds up to the massing build up of the clouds, the rain clouds. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, for learning task 1, you just need to answer and give your own idea using the suggestions I'm giving you and the discussion I gave you a while ago. Okay? May nakita akong comment kanina dito. Parang sabi niya, napanood na daw niya ako. Hi po, kita po ba ako dyan? Nawala na yung comment. Yes, Richo Acabal Baticos. Yes, your comment is flash on my screen. All right. Hello, guys. I'm enjoying myself because I love doing this. So thank you for tuning in with me. Okay. We now move to learning task 2. It says here, study and answer the questions below. Don't worry, guys. Later on, before we end, I'm going to do a summary of the things that you said a few minutes ago. Okay, learning task 2. Study and answer the questions below. Write your answers in a separate sheet of paper. We got 2 questions for that one. Number 1 is, what are the different typhoon categories and the relationship to their speed and extent of damage? Isn't that a simple question? We already discussed that, and it's so simple. The different typhoons are, we got 4, right? We got 4. One of them is the weakest, and the 4th one is the strongest. So that's an idea for you for your learning task 2. Magandang hapon po, Edson M. Castillo, grade 4 Aroma sa Pitbahayan Elementary School. Hello, Edson Castillo. Thank you for tuning in. And you are grade 4. My God, a lot of you are doing advanced learnings, and that is good. That is good. That is that is the idea of science. You learn and you apply, okay? And then you continue learning. For your number 2 question, when do you consider that a typhoon will enter or affect the country? Well, we are talking about for number 2, the yung sinabi ko kanina about how long it will take, okay? How long will it will take for a typhoon to reach land? And that's the main idea for your number 2 question. When do you consider a typhoon will enter or affect the country? That depends on the I'm already giving the answer. Anyways, this is part of the discussion. Anyways, so that depends on the wind speed. Will the wind speed carry the typhoon for 30 hours or 12 hours before it's reached land? So basically, it's the wind speed that dictates how long it will take for the typhoon to reach land. Okay? All right. And then we go to learning task 3. Do you have any questions, guys? Is it clear? Because basically our topic is very simple. We are only talking about the 4 different storms, which is yung tropical cyclone, yung depression, and then we talk about the wind speed and how long it will take to reach land. Napakasimple ng topic natin, di ba? Okay, so learning task 3, let me help you out with that one. Using the map of the Philippines and its vicinity, plot the given points on the map. Connect the plotted points. The region within is the Philippine Area of Responsibility or PAR. It is the job of PAGASA to monitor all tropical cyclones that enter this area. Okay, so in answering that, you just need to follow the guide questions. We got 4 guide questions, class. It says, what are the places located in the identified points? Okay, so once you connected this latitude, I do believe these are things na inituro na dapat sa inyong araling panlipunan if sa inyong grade 8 sa araling panlipunan. Well, the latitude and the longitude. Okay? So point A, hanapin nyo yung 5 degrees north and then latitude and then 115 degrees east longitude. That's point A. And then hanapin nyo yung latitude longitude ng B, C, D, E, and F. So you connect those and then you'll be able to answer the guide questions. Okay? All right. Yes. Okay. All right. So, nasa kabila po yung grade 4 din. So, if you are watching right now, simultaneous kasi ito, okay? Simultaneous. So, if you're watching and you are grade 4, the grade 4 session is also ongoing sa kabila. So, you may also visit that. Again, just a reminder, this is for Science 8, and I'm helping you out answer your pivot module for Science 8, okay? All right, very good. Okay, so let's check some messages once more. And for grade 4 science who are watching, tune in right now with me. I would recommend that you go to grade 4 science tutorial right now with Tutor Cherry. And she's dealing with your topic. And I do believe she's got a lot of things that can help you answer your pivot module. Grade 4, this is for grade 4, okay? But for this topic, it's for grade 8. And we are talking about typhoons, okay? All right. Okay, so where are we now? So yun, we connect the dots, point A, B, C, D, E, and F. And then once we're able to do that, once we're able to locate those locations and connect them together, you go to your guide questions, okay? So the first one is, what are the places located in the identified points? Okay, you might need to use your own Philippine map just in case. Kasi itong parang illustration lang and there's not much words in it. So find those latitude and longitude and then identify the main places that is located inside dung sa mga nabuo nyong points. All right. Number 2, if a typhoon is located at 15 degrees north, 138 degrees east, Is it within the par? Okay? So ang question niya is it a yes or a no? For number 2, it is a yes or a no question. But you need to locate first the 15 degrees north and 138 degrees east in order for you to answer that. Kasi kung hindi naman siya pumasok doon, of course, it's a no. Pero kung pumasok, I would say it's a yes. Okay? So find those points, connect them, and then see if 15 degrees north and 138 degrees east location of the typhoon, is it already in the Philippine area of responsibility? All right. And then number 3, how about if the typhoon is at 19 degrees north and 117 degrees east? Is it inside the Philippine area of responsibility? You may answer, of course, if you're doing it right now, okay? Again, the points that you need is on page 25, point A down to point F, okay? And once you're able to locate those points, go answer the guide questions. And for the number 4 guide question, why do you think Philippines experience an average of 20 to 25 typhoons a year? Explain your answer. So this one is asking you again for your own thoughts and ideas. Okay, that's why is science always asking for questions and requiring answers na manggagaling sa sarili nating idea? Because science is different from the other subjects. Okay, the other subjects requires you to memorize details. The other subjects requires you to make your computation, which is based on standards na already, which is yan na yon. Mali sagot mo, mali. But in science, it's more about application. So, tama man o mali, that's your idea, that's your own understanding. That is how we study science. Okay, you bring out your own understanding. That's why in number 4, it's asking you for your own opinion. Why do you think Philippines experience an average of 20 to 25 typhoons a year? Okay. Janet Binet Thomas, hello ma'am. Good afternoon. Edson Castillo, hi po. Edson Castillo from kanina, hello, hi. So thank you for tuning in. And just in case you're grade 4 again, this is grade 8 science, okay? With Mom Cherry, it's ongoing and I advise you to watch her and study with her, okay? All right. And now we move to the next part of your module. It says how typhoon develop. Okay. A tropical cyclone forms when winds blow into areas of the ocean where the water is warm, just like what I said a while ago, which is found near the equator. Okay. Near the equator. Again, what is an equator? Ang equator or equator class is yung horizontal line dividing the earth into two equal hemispheres, okay? The northern hemispheres and the southern hemispheres. That line at the middle is called the equator. And sabi niya dito, a tropical cyclone forms when winds blow into areas of the oceans where the water is warm, which is found near the equator. Ang tawag sa areang yon sa itaas ng equator sa ocean at sa ibaba ng equator sa ocean din, not on land because typhoons are formed sa ocean, guys. Ang tawag sa region na yon ay doldrum. Okay? D-O-L and then the word drum, yung ginagamit nating drum. Okay? Doldrum. Those are the warm regions of the ocean on top and below the equator line. Okay? Doon nabubuo palagi ang typhoon. Okay? The better source of water vapor is in the ocean, but not all can provide water vapor, sabi niya dito. According to the scientists, the temperature of ocean water must be, take note, 26.5 degrees Celsius or greater. I said take note because it's specific. In order for the water vapor to rise up and help form typhoon, the temperature should be 26.5 degrees Celsius or greater. Okay? Take note of that or highlight it, underline it. It's up to you. Okay? Let's just go ahead and check some messages as well. Maybe we get some questions. Okay, so we don't have any comments yet. Good. p.m. watching from SDO General Natividad Annex Platero Elementary School. Hello, ma'am. Julie Angelo Ramos. Thank you for watching. And let's check for the other messages. Okay. All right. So I'm going to wait for your questions just in case. All right. Learning task 4. We are now on learning task 4. Okay. Let me help you out with this idea, and let's finish this. Let's answer this with confidence and submit it to your teachers, and then so that we'll be able to get high grades. Okay. On learning task 4, shown below are the tracks or the paths. Tracks or the paths, yung daanan of 4 tropical cyclones that entered the Philippine area of responsibility in the past years. The tracks were plotted by Pag-asa, study, and analyze the map. Sabi niya, we got 2002, 2003, 2004, and 2005. So to answer this, it says here in the guide questions, where did the tropical cyclone form? Okay? So, ang tanong dito, saan nabuo yung tropical cyclone? Okay? And it's so obvious. Just look at these images, these illustrations, and look where it started. Okay? Look where it started. And the question, follow-up question on number 1 is, on land or in the water? Okay? All right. For number 2, what can you tell about the track of the typhoon in 2003 and 2004? Okay, so you're going to compare for number 2, you're going to compare 2003 sa 2004. So ano ba ang similarity? Which is very obvious. And ano ba yung naging pagkakaiba? Okay, it's almost identical, class. It's almost identical, 2003 and 2004. There is a similarity, but there's also a difference. What can you tell about the track of the typhoon in 2003 and 2004? And then on number 3, in what direction did the tropical cyclone move? Okay, so how are you going to answer number 3? Papasok na rin po doon yung direction sa map, which is the north, east, southwest, northwest, northwest, northeast, southeast, southwest. So it's up to you, of course. Just look at the figure and answer number 3. In what direction did the tropical cyclone move? Which direction? Okay. All right. So let's go to number 4. Which part of the Philippines was hit by the 4 tropical cyclones? Okay. How are you going to answer that? Take note, guys. This is grade 8 and I'm helping you answer. At the same time, understand. Okay. Which part of the Philippines was hit by the 4 tropical cyclones? To answer that, just analyze and take note of the path, yung naging daanan. And look for a specific area na dinaanan ng pare-pareho. Okay? So, is it on this part of the Philippines? Or is it on this part of the Philippines? Or in this part of the Philippines? It's as simple as that for number 4. Okay? And then on number 5, in the case of Agaton, Yoyong, and Waning, which are number 1, yung 2002, Yoyong yung 2004, and Waning yung 2005. Sabi niya dito, in the case of Agaton, Yoyong, and Waning, where did they die out? Okay, saan nawala or natunaw yung typhoon? Is it near land or in the middle of the ocean? Okay, it's as simple as that. In the case of Agaton, Yoyong, and Waning, where did they die out? Near land or in the middle of the ocean? All right. Typhoons move east to west across the country, heading north as they go. Take note of that again, class. Typhoons move east to west across the country. Okay. Storms mostly frequently make landfall on the islands of Eastern Visayas, Bicol region, and northern Luzon, whereas the southern island, the region of Mindanao, is largely free of typhoons. Bakit nga ba, question lang, class, Bakit nga ba ang typhoon palaging halos ganito ang movement? Diba? Typhoons, sabi dito, moves east to west. That is because of the movement or the rotation of the Earth, right? The Earth is moving in such a way na naaapektuhan yung pag-displace or paglipat ng mga floating elements including wind and clouds, okay? So habang nagro-rotate ang Earth, naaapektuhan niya ang paggalaw or direction ng paggalaw ng mga clouds, ng mga wind. That's why typhoons move east to west across the country. Okay? The Philippines is prone to tropical cyclones. We all know that due to its geographical locations, which generally produce heavy rains and flooding of large areas, and also strong winds, which results in heavy casualties to human life and destruction to crops and property. So it's a given fact. Okay? It's a given fact na every time na mayroon tayong tropical cyclones na mabibigat, masyadong maraming flooding na nangyayari and damages na nangyayari sa Philippines. Okay? That's the very reason why hindi biro-biro yung ginagawa natin sa ating environment because there will always be a tropical cyclone. There will always be heavy rain. Okay? So, ano magagawa natin doon? Ang iwasan na lang natin is yung mga baha at kung ano-ano pang mga disastrous result na pwedeng mangyari dahil sa kapabayaan natin sa ating Earth. Okay? And with that, we go to Learning Task 5. Okay? Again, we are on Learning Task 5 and listen very carefully because I'm going to help you out on this and then I'm going to give you instructions for Learning Task 6. Okay? All right. So for Learning Task 5, give the precautionary measures before, during, and after the typhoon by filling the 3 columns. Do this in your answer sheet. So what are you going to do before, during, and after? Okay? And then for Learning Task 6, choose the letter of the correct answers. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper and you will be able to apply everything that we discussed in order to ace this test. Okay? All right. So those are the things, the basic things about typhoons, the wind speed, take note of that, and the 4 categories for them, depression, all the way down to the tropical cyclone. All right. So I hope you learned a lot from me today. Once again, let's see you again on Monday for another Science 8 adventure here in Edtech Unit. And I'm Sir Z, your science teacher and explorer buddy in this amazing world of science. Goodbye for now. Thank you.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETULay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETULay free online tutorial session sa English. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETULay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETULay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETULay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICT's Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETULay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Okay, maraming salamat Teacher Z kanina sa ating grade 8 online tutorial. So now, we will be moving on Science 9, the mold. So again, ako po si Tutor Rainier para po umagapay sa inyo sa hapon na ito. At nagkaroon po tayo ng panibagong sked. Noong karaan, napaaga lang po tayo ngayon at maganda na po ang sked natin dahil itong Monday para sa week na to ay puro science subjects. So again, congratulations dahil nandito po kayo ngayon at nakatutok sa ating DepEd Online, ETULay online tutor. So ready na po ba kayo? So now, tayo po ay magkakaroon po ng review muna para sa ating last week, which is week natin last week. Pero before that, introduce muna natin ang ating most essential learning competencies. Ready na po mga grade 9 learners? So ito ang ating MELCs para sa araw na ito at sa buong week. Use the mole concept to express a mass of substances. Yan. Ito ay meron tayong code na S9MP-11I-19. So let's have the looking back. Use label box on the right and the periodic table as your guide to complete the activity that follows. So before this, so yung ating pivot na SLM ay meron akong nakalagay doon na periodic table. So mas maganda sana kung meron din kayong dalang periodic table today o meron kayong hawak na periodic table para makuha po natin yung kinakailangan nating requirements in order for us to complete the activity that follows. Ready na ba? Okay, so meron muna tayong mga viewers from Division of Camarines Sur. And then meron din tayo from STO General M. Natividad Annex Platero Elementary School. Yan. So, move na tayo. This is the modern periodic table of elements. As you can see on the screen, on the right side, meron tayo ditong legend. And then sa box na to, makita natin yung mga pertinent details about each element. So, isa-isay natin. So the one here, yung nasa upper left, this is what we call the atomic number. Atomic number, ito po yung parang unique ID ng bawat elements. And then bawat elements ay may kanya-kanyang atomic number. Next is yung nanditong letter sa gitna. So this is the symbol. So usually the symbol of an element, syempre nag-start ito sa capital letter. At kung merong second letter, ito naman ay small letter na. Let's move. Sa baba ng symbol or chemical symbol, meron tayo dito name of the element o yung mismong pangalan ng element. And then for this example, since the symbol is H, ang ating element naman dito ay hydrogen. Next, sa pinakababa, ng name of element, yung ating 1.008, that is the atomic weight. Meaning, yung mismong atomic weight ng hydrogen. At siya po ay nakalagay sa pinakababa and naka-report po siya sa decimal number. Okay, let's move na. So, direction. Fill in the missing information for each of the following elements on the tiled card below. So, you may write your answer on the space provided, and then pwede naman natin ilagay muna ang sagot natin sa piece of paper. Ready? Ayan. So C, carbon, 12.010. Ano po kaya ang nawawala? So yung nasa taas. So usually, yung nasa taas o yung nasa upper left, we are looking for atomic number. So what is the atomic number of carbon? Sige, tingnan natin sa mga comments natin sa FB page. Again, nakalive po tayo sa DepEd Philippines, DepEd tayo, DepEd Edtech Unit, and then meron din po tayong mga platforms katulad ng YouTube. So ano kaya ang mismong atomic number ng carbon? So later yan. So the next tile is O. On the second box, meron tayo dito atomic number 8. Yan, titignan natin sa periodic table. Ano kayang element yung pang 8 na atomic number? And then, the symbol is capital O. And then, yung sa baba naman, meron tayo dito, tinatawag natin na atomic weight, which is 15.999. So, almost magsi-16 na siya, no? And kung i-round off natin sa whole number. Third box, or third tile is 23, yung kanyang atomic number. V, ang kanyang symbol. At ang kanyang chemical name ay vanadium. So we are looking for its atomic weight. Yan. And then meron tayo dito pa isa pa. 53, ang kanyang atomic number. Blank, yung symbol. Tapos ang kanyang chemical element ay iodine. 126.904 ang kanyang atomic weight. And last one, 110. Capital B, small s, ang kanyang chemical symbol, blank. And ang kanyang magiging atomic weight ay naka-round off na, 281. Okay? So later natin siya, no? So dito po sa ating first box, kung hahanapin po natin, pwede po tayong maghanap ng sa Play Store. Kung kayo po ay gumagamit ng smartphone or CP, so sa Play Store, hanapin nyo lang po yung Periodic Table 2021. And then makikita nyo po doon at makakakuha po kayo ng maraming applications pagdating sa ating modern periodic table. So sa carbon, pwede natin i-click no, yung C doon kung meron tayong periodic table na application, kaya meron tayong mismong yung old-fashioned na periodic table. Makikita natin that the atomic number of carbon is 6. Yan, 6. Next, the next tile, ito naman po, O. So the name of the element is oxygen. Next, let's move to the third tile, vanadium. Ayan. So, hanapin natin yung vanadium. Atomic number 23. Atomic number 23. So, ang titignan natin yung kanyang atomic weight. The atomic weight of vanadium is 50.9415. So, 50.94. Pwede na po yun. Okay. So, next, the fourth tile is 53. So, that is iodine. Ano kaya yung chemical symbol ng iodine? So, hanapin natin sa periodic table. Atomic number 53. Atomic number 53. Ayan, nakita ko dito sa aking smartphone. So, ang kanyang chemical symbol ay capital letter I, iodine. At ang kanyang atomic weight is 126.904. Last, 110. Hanapin natin. So, 110 sa periodic table, siya ay may symbol na DS. At ang kanyang atomic weight ay 281. So ano ang kanyang chemical name? So ang kanyang chemical name ay Darmstadium. Darmstadium. So ito po ang ating looking back letter A. So kung titignan natin, meron na tayong mabubuong term na kung saan timely, which is COVID. So the COVID-19. So dito po, pumapasok yung ating skill kung paano maghanap po ng pertinent requirements or pertinent details about periodic table. Okay, now let's move to the next stage, no, which is the modern chemical science. So specifically, marami pong mga scientists, and then to name few, meron tayong James Chadwick. We also have John Dalton and Ernest Rutherford. So ano po ang kanilang common sa tatlong ito? So they are all what we call chemists. at sila po ay lahat ay scientists. So at the same time, sila naman din po ang nagsabi sa atin ng iba't ibang mga contributions sila about science. So James Chadwick, siya po ang nakadiscover ng neutron. Si John Dalton naman ang gumawa ng napaka-famous na atomic model. And then, ganoon din naman din po kay Ernest Rutherford. Now, every day, we always quantify matter through counting, weighing, or finding its mass. So grade 9 learners, no, di ba? Kapag tayo po ay gumising, so usually tinitignan agad natin cellphone natin. So bakit? Hindi naman lagi natin tinitignan yung cellphone to look on our messages. So usually tinitignan natin anong oras na. Siyempre, kailangan natin malaman kung anong oras na tayo nagising. So basically, dun pa lang nagka-quantify na po tayo. At the same time, may mga bagay din na kailangan natin magbilang. So we quantify matter through counting. Siyempre, nagbibilang po tayo. Next, we also have the weighing process. Tayo po ay nagtitimbang. And then, we also have what we call, nagpa-find tayo o naghahanap tayo ng mass. So in this way, marami po tayong paraan kung paano i-quantify yung mass. Yan, makikita niyo po sa screen ang mga iba't ibang quantifying factor o yung tinatawag nating counting factor. Sige, tignan nga natin ito. So let's move here in the first picture. Yan, kasi ginawa ko po, pinakita ko na yung halos lahat ng picture. So dito po, ano kaya ang tawag natin dito sa counting factor na to? Etong may, ilan natin na 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ayan, 12. Ano po kayang tawag natin dyan sa 12 pieces of eggs? Anong pwede nating itawag dyan or collective term for 12 pieces? So, tignan natin. This what we call dozen. So, pag sinabi natin dozen, it's a collective term which means 12 pieces. So, a dozen of egg. It means we have 12 pieces of eggs. Okay, let's move to the next picture. Ito po, yung white paper dito o yung coupon bond. So, meron siyang dalawa. So, usually, ang isang box nito o yung isang pack nito ay may 500 coupon bonds. 500 pages ng coupon bond. So, anong tawag natin sa isang isang box na to or isang pack ng 500 coupon bonds? So, this is what we call a ream. R-E-A-M. So, ream. So, pag sinabi natin one ream of bond paper, we are pertaining to 500 pages ng coupon bond. Ayan. So, next here, meron pa tayo dito. Sorry for the branding, ha? Hindi ko na natakpan. So, meron tayo dito maraming soft drinks. So, tinatawag natin itong case. Okay? So, let's say case ng yung sikat na brand ng soft drinks. Yan po. So, bibilangin nyo lang dyan kung ilan yan. And then, pag sinabi natin isang case ng soft drinks, automatic po yan. Yan po yung pinipertain natin. It depends po kung ilan din po yung nakalagay sa isang case. Now, this one. So, alam naman natin, this is what we call sack o isang sako. So, one sack of rice. Now, bakit ko dinidiscuss po ito? Since ito po ang ating tinatawag na collective term po natin for quantifying matter. So now, since we are studying chemistry in Science 9, meron po tayong tinatawag na quantifying factor. So allow me to introduce isa sa mga famous din na scientist at siya po ang isa sa may pinakamaganda po na-contribute in the field of chemistry. So he was Amadeo Avogadro. So dahil sa kanyang napakagaling na contribution, ibinigay po sa kanya yung term na Avogadro's number. So this is the fundamental unit of measurement of substance na tinatawag natin na mole. Ayan. So meron ditong binigay sa kanya na Avogadro's number. 6.022 times 10 to the 23. So napakalaking number. So very huge number. So mahirap isulat ito in standard form kasi 23 yung exponent. So therefore, after the decimal point, yan, mag-move pa siya, no, ng ganung kadami na decimal places. So sobrang haba niya. So what we did was, sinulat na lang natin into scientific notation format para mas precise at the same time, konti lang yung gagamitin natin number. And then, lumabas na 6.022 times 10 to the 23 particles. O kaya meron din sa ibang libro, 6.02. After 2 decimal place na lang sinusulat, times 10 to the 23. Okay, so let's try this. Ayan. So I want you to prepare your paper and calculator since isa sa ating mga most essential learning competencies ay magko-compute po tayo ng ating mole. So example number 1. How many molecules are there in 4.0 moles of carbon dioxide? Ayan. So ano ba ang ating magiging prerequisite? So therefore, kailan alamin muna natin yung sinasabi nating mga stoichiometry na terms. So here, meron po tayong molecules. So molecules, ito yung isa sa mga maliliit po na unit. No? At the same time, kinukuha natin kung ilang molecules ang meron sa 4.0 moles of carbon dioxide. So allow me to present muna yung ating solution. To answer this question, just remember this. Ito yung pinaka-importante. 1 mole of a certain substance, kahit ano yan, any matter, meron siyang equivalent na 6.022 times 10 to the 23 particles. So kahit ito po ay element, atom, molecule, ion, so meron siyang equivalent na 6.022 times 10 to the 23 particles. So yan po, no? Nakita natin na ang itong dimension analysis na to, itong gagamitin natin para po mag-compute ng molecules later. Now, so let's move. Since meron tayong equivalent na 1 mole is equal to 6.022 times 10 to the 23 particles, so isusulat muna natin yung given, which is 4.0 moles of carbon dioxide, that's CO2. Multiply natin sa ating dimensional analysis o yung ating conversion factor. For every 1 mole of a certain substance or dito for this particular compound, which is carbon dioxide, meron tayo dito 6.022 times 10 to the 23 particles. So ano napansin nyo, grade 9 learners? Since ito yung ating moles for carbon dioxide, dapat ang ating gagamiting conversion factor, yung 1 mole of carbon dioxide ay dapat na nasa denominator. Kasi makakancel natin yan. So cancel ito, cancel ito. And then yung nasa numerator, ay nasa taas ng fraction, ay yung mismong Avogadro's number. 6.022 times 10 to the 23 molecules of carbon dioxide. Okay, let's move. So since gagamit tayo ng calculator, so we will be multiplying 4.0 times 6.022. Yun muna ang ating i-compute, no? Yung numbers muna. 4 times 6.022. So ang lalabas po ay 2.41 times 10 to the 24. Kasi lumabas po dyan sa ating calculator. So gagamit po ako ng calculator dito. Hindi ko na lang mapapakita sa screen. So kapag multiply po natin ang 4 times 6.022, lalabas po ay 24.1. So 6.02 times 4, yan, 24.08. So kapag niround up po natin, 2.41 o 24.1. Since 24.1 ay hindi po nakasulat into scientific notation, so kailangan po natin siyang i-move. Yung decimal place natin, i-move po natin papunta ng left. So when we move the decimal point or places papunta po ng left, mag-add po tayo ng 1. or plus 1 sa exponent. So 23 plus 1, that's 24. So the final answer is 2.41 times 10 to the 24 molecules of carbon dioxide. Okay? So that's the first example po on how to compute or to find kung ano po yung dami ng molecules given a certain moles of certain substance. Yan. So let's move to the process of calculating moles and number of atoms. Yan. So ano na po tayo? Punta na agad tayo sa may mismong problem solving. Compute both the number of moles of atoms and the number of atoms in 10-gram sample of aluminum. So ano ba yung aluminum? So aluminum po, ito yung ginagamit natin sa industry na metal. So basically, tinatawag din siya para siyang metalloy kasi nandun siya sa may pinaka-part ng gitna ng metal at ng non-metal. Ayan. In this case, we want to change from mass to moles of atom. So again, analyze natin yung problem. Compute both the number of moles of atoms and the number of atoms in the 10-gram sample of aluminum. So first, since we analyze problems, pwede nating gawin into dimensional analysis. So since meron tayong 10 grams of aluminum, so we are pertaining to mass. Because SI unit of mass is grams, di ba? So now, kailangan natin siyang i-convert into moles of aluminum atoms. So paano yun? Grams of aluminum, and then we will convert it into moles of aluminum atoms. So, gamit tayo ng periodic table, titignan natin doon yung aluminum. So, aluminum, meron tayong atomic weight. Yung nasa baba kanina, kung naalala nyo kanina yung sa ating tiles, merong chemical element, tapos meron sa baba yung kanyang decimal number. So, that pertains to atomic weight. So, the atomic weight of aluminum is 26.9 grams. So meaning 1 mole of aluminum is equal to 26.98 grams of aluminum. Now, to construct the appropriate conversion factor, so we will be using this 10.0 gram of aluminum times 1 mole of aluminum divided by 26.98 grams of aluminum. Okay, so wag malilito mga grade 9 learners, no? Gumagamit tayo ng conversion factor para ma-cancel natin yung given. And yung matitira sa taas o sa nasa numerator, yun yung ating desired na unit na kailangan. Since we are converting the number of moles of atoms and the number of atoms in a certain sample of aluminum. So 10.0 grams times 1 mole of aluminum divided by 26.98. So again, grade 9 learners, divide natin yung 10 divided by 26.98. And then, the quotient is 0.371 mole of aluminum. So therefore, in a sample of aluminum which weighs 10 grams, ang kanyang counterpart na number of moles of atoms of aluminum is 0.371. Again, we divide 10 grams of aluminum sa 26.98, which is the atomic weight. So 0.371 moles of aluminum. Okay, so let's move to the next. Since alam naman natin na yung 1 mole of aluminum atoms, again, any atoms, any molecules, any ions, ay meron itong equivalent na 6.022 times 10 to the 23 atoms. So, basic po yan at ito ay, lahat po ay pwedeng i-apply sa lahat po ng substance, no? Kasi ito nga yung tinatawag natin na Avogadro's number. So, 0.371 mole of aluminum times, ito po, yung ating conversion factor. Again, take a look dun sa left side natin. Kung ano yung nasa left side na unit, dapat mag-a-appear siya sa baba. para ma-cancel natin. So 1 mole of aluminum is equal to 6.022 times 10 to the 23 aluminum atoms. So yung 6.022 times 10 to the 23 aluminum atoms ay nasa numerator. At ito pong mole of aluminum ay nasa baba. So kapag nakita natin ito, grade 9 learners, we are referring to multiplication. So 0.371 times 6.022, yun muna yung ating i-multiply. So 0.371 times 6.022, the product is 2.23. And then, affix na natin yung times 10 to the 23 aluminum atoms. Again, so, nasagot na natin yung second question, the number of atoms in a 10-gram sample of aluminum. So, the number of atoms in that sample of aluminum is 2.23 times 10 to the 23 aluminum atoms. So, such big number. So, ang dami, no? Kasi alam naman natin that atoms, ito yung pinakamaliit na unit talaga. So, syempre, kahit mali siya, so kapag pinagsama-sama natin yun dahil sa ating kinakalculate na moles and the number of atoms. Okay, let's move. We can summarize now, grade 9 learners, para mas maintindihan natin. In 10 grams of aluminum, so we need to multiply using the conversion factor yung ating tinatawag na atomic weight. This one. The atomic weight of aluminum is 26.98 grams. So we will be using that conversion factor to calculate the number of moles of aluminum alone. So again, 10 grams of aluminum divided by 26.98 grams. So the quotient is 0.371 mole of aluminum. Okay. Next, since alam na natin yung moles ng aluminum, pwede na natin siyang i-solve further. So 0.371 moles of aluminum atoms now will be multiplied to another conversion factor. So the conversion factor for this time is yung ating tinatawag na Avogadro's number. So 1 mole of aluminum is equal to 6.022 times 10 to the 23 aluminum atoms. Now, kung kanina dito sa 10 grams of aluminum, divide natin sa 26.98, ito naman, yung multiply natin. 0.371 times 6.22 times 10 to the 23 aluminum atoms. So the product is 2.23 times 10 to the 23 aluminum atoms. Okay? Any question po, grade 9 learners, how we compute or calculate the moles of the number of atoms? Just remember one thing, kailangan gamitin natin ng maayos ang tinatawag natin na conversion factor. Kasi ang proseso na ginagawa natin mga bata ay dimensional analysis. Isa sa mga skills na kailangan matutunan ng mga bata, especially science students, kung paano mag-compute at mag-convert ng isang quantity to another quantity. So again, use proper or correct conversion factor para magamit natin ang tamang proseso ng dimensional analysis. Okay. Now, paano naman mag-compute ng molecular mass or formula mass? So technically, pag sinabi nating molecular mass at formula mass, pareho lang naman talaga sila ng process kung paano siya i-compute. Nagbabago lang sila o may difference lang sila kung anong type ng compound ang meron sa kanila. Pag formula mass, we are pertaining to ionic compounds. So pag sinabi natin ionic compound, we are dealing with combination of metals and non-metals. So yung synergy, yung combination nitong dalawang to. Yung nasa left side na periodic table at yung nasa right side na periodic table. So metal plus non-metal. So ionic compound. Next, pag sinabi natin molecular mass naman, again, same pa rin ang process, but this time, iba naman yung elements nito. Both of them ay binubuo naman ng mga non-metals, puro non-metals, yung molecular mass. Okay, so let's move. So, meron tayo dito mga basic steps no, on how to compute molecular mass or formula mass. First, identify the number of atoms or atom in a compound. So we are pertaining to the small number written on the lower side ng formula mass or molecular mass. So ito yung tinatawag po natin na subscript. So sinasabi niya kung ilan ang number o ilan ang atoms or mismong particular na dami ng atoms sa isang compound. So later titingnan natin kung anong example dyan. Second step, multiply it by the atomic weight of the element found in the periodic table. Again, pinaka-importante na alam natin yung atomic weight. Since hindi natin kabisado lahat ng atomic weight ng lahat ng 118 elements, so better, meron tayong periodic table na nasa atin at madali nating makuha yung value ng atomic weight. Maganda na rin na meron tayong applications sa ating cellphone para i-click na lang natin yung element. And then the last step is calculate the molecular mass or formula mass by adding the atomic weights of the elements. So again, balik tayo sa first step. Identify natin yung number of atoms in a compound. So tignan natin yung subscript. Pag walang nakalagay na subscript, ibig sabihin, ang atoms po nun ay isa. So automatic po yan na 1. Pero pag may naka-indicate na 2, 3, 4, so on, ibig sabihin, yun yung mismong dami ng atoms. And then, the second step, again, multiply yung atomic weight niya dun sa dami ng atoms na nasa subscript. And then, last, compute na natin yung sum. Ito total natin. I-add natin lahat kung ilan po yung makita natin doon na atomic weight times dun sa number of atoms. Okay. Example 1, grade 9 learners. Formula mass of calcium sulfate. Ano ang formula mass ng calcium sulfate? So, syempre, meron tayong chemical formula. Ca, referring to calcium. Okay, CSO4. So, it pertains to calcium, yung sulfate na ion. And then, the number of atoms is 1, 1, 4. Yan. So, calcium 1, walang nakalagay na sa calcium na number. It's understood 1. S for sulfur, 1, and oxygen, 4. Yan po. 1 times 40.08 is equal to 40.08. Diba? Ibig sabihin, yung 1, pag multiply natin sa 40.08, ganun pa rin yung product. And then 1 times 32.07, 32.07. 4 times 16, 64. So, saan nakita natin itong nasa second line na to? Ito po yung kanilang atomic weights. Kita natin yan sa periodic table. And then last one, add na natin. 40.08 plus 32.07 plus 64. So, the answer or the sum or the total is 136.15 atomic mass unit. That's the AMU. Atomic mass unit. So, that is the formula mass. Why formula mass? Because copper sulfate is an ionic compound. So, formula mass of copper sulfate is 136.15 atomic mass unit. So, example number 2, molecular mass of water. Yan po. Napakasimple lang dahil dalawa lang naman yung elements. 2 times 1, 2. 1 times 16, 16. 2 plus 16, 18 atomic mass unit. Yan po. So note, the formula mass and molecular mass are computed in the same manner. Ito naman ang molecular mass ng water. Molecular mass ang term kasi water is a covalent compound. Kasi wala po itong metallic element. Okay, so now, calculate the molar mass, number of moles, and the number of particles present in 50 grams of iron 3 oxide. O yung, in layman's term, ito yung kalawang o yung rust. So meron tayo ditong box para ma-analyze natin on how we deal with this type of problem. Sa isang mole ng iron 3 oxide, meron tayong 2 moles of, eto po, iron atoms, Fe2, 2 moles, and then 3 moles of oxygen atoms. Calculate the molar mass of the number of moles in the number of particles present in 50 grams of iron 3 oxide. So, i-run through na lang natin. So, for the molar mass, the atomic mass of iron is equal to 2 kasi meron siyang subscript na 2 dito, 2 times 55.85 gram per mole. So, ang ating product is 111.7 gram per mole. Next, for oxygen, we have O is equal to 3 times 16 gram per mole. So, 3 times 16 is 48 gram per mole. Add natin, 117 o 111.7 plus 48. The sum is 159.7 gram per mole. So, that's the molar mass of iron 3 oxide or rust, simply. For the number of moles, grade 9 learners, ito naman. So remember that in 1 mole of iron 3 oxide, we computed this way, no? Ang sagot natin kanina is 159.7 grams. So that's the molar mass. Pero since we're talking about 1 mole, so ito na lang po siya, grams na lang siya. And to construct it, using correct conversion factor, 50 grams of iron 3 oxide times, ito yung conversion factor natin. Since yung iron 3 oxide natin ay nandito, dapat mag-appear siya sa baba nito with grams. So 1 mole of iron 3 oxide or rust divided by or over 159.7 grams of iron 3 oxide. So since ito po ay nasa baba, it means division. 50 divided by 159.7, the quotient is 0.313 moles of iron 3 oxide. So again, no, so we need to analyze first talaga kung ano yung hinahanap natin sa certain problem. So in this way, ang hinahanap dito ay yung molar mass kasi kailangan natin makompute yung number of moles. And then for that, gagamit tayo ng conversion factor nito based dun sa ating computation sa molar mass. Okay? So I guess wala pa namang mga questions dito sa ating Facebook group, no? Sa DepEd Philippines at sa iba't iba pang pages katulad ng DepEd Edtech. Now, for the number of particles, kailangan natin malaman yung number of atoms, syempre. So, we're pertaining to the number of particles, it means we are finding the number of atoms. So, we will convert from moles of atoms to the number of atoms using equivalent statement. Yan. Don't forget po ito yung 6.022 times 10 to the 23 iron 3 oxide atoms ay equivalent siya sa Avogadro's number. So now, 0.313 mole of iron 3 oxide times yung ating conversion factor, 6.022 times 10 to the 23 iron 3 oxide atoms divided by 1 mole. So, ito po ay multiplication kasi pareho silang nasa numerator. So, 1.88 times 10 to the 23 iron 3 oxide atoms. Okay? So, double check ko lang kung may mga messages pa ba dito. Okay, wala na siguro. So, learning task natin. So, sa learning task, ito po ang dapat yung gawin. So, you have to answer learning task 1. So, pinili ko na dito yung dalawa. How many mango seeds are equal to 3.50 mole or moles of mango seeds? And the number 2, how many bananas are equal to 7.5 moles of bananas? So basically, kung anin natin, ito pa, meron pa palang learning task 3. So solve the following problems below in a separate sheet of paper. So ayan po yung learning task, nandyan sa ating, nasa baba lang ito ng learning task 1. Gumagamit po tayo ng yung sa Calabarzon, Region 4A po ng kanilang SLM. Ayan. So, pag-compute natin ng learning task 1, so, kailangan natin malaman yung number of mango seeds. So, dapat alam natin yung conversion factor natin. So, bigyan ko po kayo ng clue, no? So, dito, gagamit po tayo ng ganitong analysis. Since mole ang given, at gagawin po natin particles, so, dapat i-multiply natin siya ng Avogadro's number. So, mole to particles, it means we need to multiply that mole in the given by 6.02 times 10 to the 23, or simply the Avogadro's number. So, yan po. 3.50 moles times 6.02 times 10 to the 23 the particles is equal to 21.07 times 10 to the 23 mango seeds. Ayan, napansin natin that the 21.07 is not yet written in proper or correct scientific notation. So, diba dapat ang ano niya dito, yung number niya dito ay more than 1 but less than 10. So, hindi dapat lalagpas ng 10. So, we need to move the decimal place to the left. So, magiging 2.107. Yan na po yung bago niyang base. And then, ito na po yung ating magiging panibagong exponent. So, plus 1. 23 plus 1, 24. So, ang sagot natin is 2.107 times 10 to the 24 Mongo seeds. Yan po. Next, for second example or second learning task, no, dun sa question na yun, how many bananas are equal to 7.5 moles of bananas? So, mole, 2 particles. Ganun ulit. Multiply by Avogadro's number. 7.5 moles of bananas times 6.02 times 10 to the 23. And then, the product is 45.15 times 10 to the 23 Mongo seeds. Again, ang nasa unang number ay hindi po nakasulat sa scientific notation. So, we need to convert pa ito o kaya gawin natin siyang proper or accurate. So, kailangan 4.515. So, we move the decimal place to the left. So, plus 1. Bakit plus 1? Kasi isang beses lang tayo nag-move ng decimal place. Mula dito sa decimal place na to, nag-move tayo papunta dito sa in between 4 and 5. So, 4.515 times 10 to the 24. 23 plus 1. 24. Mongo seeds. Okay. Now, let's move sa learning task number 3. Solve the following problems below. Do this in separate sheet of paper. So, let me read yung ating problem. Gold, ang kanyang chemical symbol ay AU, has been used to make ornamental objects and jewelry for thousands of years. Gold nuggets found in a stream are very easy to work and were probably one of the first metals used by humans. Again, 1 mole of gold is equal to 196.97 grams. Again, saan nakuha natin yung 196.97? So, galing po siya sa atomic weight, sa periodic table. Calculate the following. A, number of moles in 95 gram sample of gold nugget. And letter B, the number of atoms in 95 gram sample of gold nugget. So, dalawa po yung hinahanap natin dito. The number of moles, and then the other one is the number of atoms. Kasi magkaiba po yan. So, for the number of moles, ito po, ang gagamitin natin. Mass, since naka 95 gram po siya, so ibig sabihin, given siya sa mass. So 95.0 grams, so mass. So we need to divide it by the molar mass. Saan ba yung molar mass? Ito, yung 196.97, para maging mole. Tignan natin. So since we are looking for the mole of that 95 gram sample of gold nugget, so 95 gram divided by 196.97 gram per mole of this gold. And the quotient is 0.48 mole of gold. So yan po yung mole ng from mass of mismo 95 gram sample. So 95 divided by 196.97. So makakancel po natin dito yung gram. Since naka per mole ito at nasa baba, mapupunta po siya sa taas. So, by reciprocal property, so magiging 0.48 mole of gold. For letter B, for mass, number of particles, since wala po tayong direct na mass to particles, kailangan dadaan muna siya sa mole. So, mass, i-divide natin siya sa molar mass para makompute natin yung mole. And then once the answer is now in mole, i-multiply natin siya sa Avogadro's number para maging particles. So, yun po, meron tayong two-way step. So, again, ito po yung complete solution. So, 95 grams of gold divided by the molar mass, which is found in the periodic table, 196.97 gram per mole of gold, times, which is the Avogadro's number, 6.02 times 10 to the 23. And then, so, divide muna natin yung 95 divided by 196.97 and then multiply po natin. And then the product is 2.9 times 10 to the 23 AU atoms or gold atoms. Okay, so yan po yung tamang pag-compute po. Basta alam lang po natin yung proper way of analyzing problems, kung ano yung usual na given at ano naman yung missing o yung hinahanap. So, sa generalization natin, mole is a fundamental unit of measurement of substances. And don't forget the Avogadro's number, 6.022 times 10 to the 23, which is contributed by the famous scientist Amadeo Avogadro. So ito po yung mga pwede nating kailangang malaman para kung magsasolve tayo ng problems dealing with mass, mole mass. Nandiyan na po sa screen, no? At nasa SLM na rin po yan. Mass divided by molar mass to compute for the mole. Mole multiply to molar mass to compute for the mass. And to get the mole, i-divide natin yung particles sa Avogadro's number. For moles to particles, yung given na mole, multiply natin sa kanyang Avogadro's number to get the particles. At yung mga ganito pang problem, particle to mole, divide lang natin yung particles sa 6.02, which is the Avogadro's number, to get the mole. At ito po yung two-way step naman, mass to number of particles. Again, since mass cannot be converted into particles agad-agad, so dadaan pa siya muna sa mole. So mass, divide natin sa molar mass to get the mole, and then multiply sa ating Avogadro's number to get the particles. Kung particles naman ang given at mass naman hinahanap, gawin pa rin, balik ka rin lang natin yung process. Yung particles na nasa given, divide muna natin sa Avogadro's number para makupit natin yung mole. Since mole na yung answer, pwede na natin i-multiply sa molar mass para makuha natin yung mismong mass na hinahanap sa problem. Okay? So, yun na po yung ating last na problem. So, kung may question po kayo, pwede naman po kayong makapag-leave po ng comments kung meron po kayong problem po o answer na gusto niyo pong i-clarify, pwede po kayo mag-leave ng mga comments dito sa ating FB page. No? So, ang next topic natin for week 8, Science 9, Quarter 2 is the percent composition of compounds. Again, sana po marami po natutunan sa ating maikling pag-agapay ng ating week 7. And then, aralin lang po natin yung SLL dahil nandun na po lahat ng mga details about week 7. So, again, thank you very much. And ako po ang inyong tutor Rainier para sa grade 9 Science 9. And again, thank you and God bless us all.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETULay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETULay free online tutorial session sa English. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETULay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETULay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETULay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICTS Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Alain Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na Pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETULay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Cognizant to the needs of our learners, parents, and teachers, the Department of Education provided us with powerful tools for productivity that will allow us to foster critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, communication and collaboration skills to be compassionate, responsible global citizens. Join us and discover new ideas in our series of professional development training program with the ICTS Edtech Unit and Microsoft Education Philippines. Together, we will equip our learners and empower our fellow educators for a dynamic future. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Sulong Edukalidad.
Ayan. So, good afternoon. Ako po muli ang inyong ETULay online tutor. Again, Sir Rainier, para naman sa Science 10. So now we are talking about and discussing week 6. So since meron po tayong only gap lang na isang week dahil kailangan po nating discuss muna ng maayos po yung mga susunod na week po natin. So Science 10, so we are talking about qualitative characteristics which are pertaining to orientation, type, and magnification of images formed by mirrors. So meron na lang po tayong mga susunod na weeks na lang po para matapos na yung ating Science 10 second quarter. Ayan. So now, meron po tayo muna dito. I-share ko muna yung screen natin. Naka-share na po ba yung screen? Okay. Ayan po. Share na po ang screen ko po. Okay na po ba? Naka-share na po, sir?
Hello, Sabrina. Good afternoon.
Yes po. Sir, naka-ano po?
Yes, hello po. Ayan. Hello, sir.
Yes po, sir. Wait po. Sir, ano na po? Ayan. So, sorry po for the delay. So, again, welcome to our Science 10, which is week 6 po tayo. And then, qualitative characteristics of images formed by mirrors. So, since we are talking about qualitative characteristics, so, bound po tayo dito sa orientation, type, and magnification po ng mga images na nabubuo ng mirrors. Okay. Yan. Ano nakikita natin sa screen? So, may isang cute na bata na nakaharap sa mirror. And then, I guess, ang ginagawa po niya ay tinitignan niya yung sarili niya dun sa mirror. And then, makikita natin na pwede natin sabihin na yung batang ito ay tinitignan niya yung kanyang reflection. So, yung reflection niya dun sa mirror. And then, siguro gusto niyang mag-ayos ng damit or gusto niyang ayusin yung buhok niya, or let's say, pwede meron silang pupuntahan, mag-church sila. So, tinignan niya yung sarili niya dun sa mirror. Now, so ito yung ating most essential learning competencies for grade 10. Predict the qualitative characteristics. So, again, qualitative characteristics. We are pertaining to quality, orientation, the type, and the magnification of images formed by plane and curved mirrors and lenses. So, gumagamit po tayo ng code na S10-FE-2G-50. So, again, predict the qualitative characteristics of images formed by planes and curved mirrors and lenses. Gumagamit po tayo, again, ng pivot Calabarzon Region 4A na SLM. At ito po, ang usual po natin ginagamit na instructional material para maitawid po natin ang mga pag-aaral natin o lessons sa Science 10. So again, sa mga nakatutok po this afternoon, ating po pag-aaralan ang qualitative characteristics po ng images formed by plane and curved mirrors and lenses. So let's move on. Usually, ano ba yung magiging laman ng ating online tutor process? So meron tayong looking back. So we need to review or have a short recall kung ano yung na-discuss natin last Monday. And then, meron tayong discussion, learning tasks, and the generalization. Now, so bigyan ko lang po kayo ng konting parang info about kung ano yung pag-uusapan natin ngayong araw. So, etong ngayong week na to. So, we are down to remaining weeks na bago natin matapos yung second quarter. And congratulations, grade 10 learners, for being masipag palagi sa pagsagot ang mga SLM natin. Siyempre, sa panonood po ng ating ETU online tutorial. Now, so let's have looking back. First, I want your cooperation. Kung meron po kayong time, maaring sumagot po kayo sa ating chat box o dito po sa ating comment section ng ating live feed sa ating una, DepEd Philippines. Tayo po ay naka-live din sa DepEd Edtech Unit Facebook page. We also been watching din po sa ating DepEd Tayo FB page. Meron din po sa platform naman sa YouTube. Okay, so directions natin, determine the type of electromagnetic wave that is being described in each statement. So, kailangan natin malaman kung anong klaseng electromagnetic wave or EM wave ang dinidescribe sa bawat statement dito. So, meron akong ibibigay na 5 statements. So, tignan natin kung ano yung electromagnetic wave ang dinidiscuss. So, let's have number 1. It has the longest wavelength. It has the longest wavelength. So, alam na natin ito, no, na ang electromagnetic wave na may pinakamahabang wavelength ay radio wave. That's why radio wave or radio waves are commonly used in communications kasi ito ang may pinaka mahabang wavelength at meron itong less energy kaya hindi ito masyadong nakakapagbigay ng harmful effects sa atin. Kaya best ang radio wave sa communication. Second, it can be seen by human eyes. So meron tayong 7 na electromagnetic wave given na yung radio wave. Ano kaya yung electromagnetic wave na nasa gitna? Nasa gitna, so pang-apat. So that is visible light. So visible light ay meron din itong components na 7 colors. Yung naalala ko yan sa MAPE, sa elementary, tinuturo ni teacher yung Roy G. Beeve. Meron tayong red, orange, yellow, diba? Green, blue, indigo, violet. So akala ko yung kulay lang yan ay yun lang yun, ginawa ni Lord, yung kulay ng rainbow. Yung pala, in science, meron itong kinalaman sa wavelength. So sa rainbow, yung makikita mo sa pinakatuktok, red. Kapag tinignan mo, ang haba ng red. So ibig sabihin, yung red ang may longest wavelength. At syempre, susundan natin yung Roy G. Beeve. At yun, yung violet na nga, ang may pinaka maigsing wavelength. Yan. So, visible light po yan. Number 3, it is used in night vision goggles or devices. So, ginagamit ito ng mga military people kapag meron silang sinusurveillance na, let's say, mga kaaway nila, lalo na kapag madidilim po yung lugar na sinesearch nila. So, gumagamit sila ng mga night vision goggles. Anong electromagnetic wave ang ginagamit doon o utilize doon? So, ang doon ay infrared. So, infrared po ang ginagamit. Now, next, it has the greatest amount of energy. Among the 7 electromagnetic waves, ano kaya yung may pinaka mataas na amount of energy? So, syempre, ito po ay yung tinatawag natin na gamma rays. Sa gamma rays naman, ito po yung merong ionizing effect. Diba meron po tayong diniscuss last week, yung non-ionizing at yung ionizing electromagnetic waves. So gamma rays fall under ionizing natin na category niya. And last, number 5, it is used in mobile phones. It is used in mobile phones. So radio wave. And then basically, din pwede ikaw gumamit ng microwave sa mobile phones. Pero generally, mobile phones ay gumagamit po ng radio waves for communication. At gamit na gamit natin yan in the new normal setup of education. Yan. So let's move on the topic. So sa topic natin, which is the qualitative characteristics of mirrors. So, saan ba natin ginagamit yung mirrors? So, sa English, these are, sa Tagalog, ito yung salamin or mirror sa English. So, now, meron tayo usual na laging naririnig in science natin, mga science concepts about reflection. So, define muna natin yung reflection kasi dito po, magsisimula lahat ng fundamental concepts on optics, which is the reflection. So, define muna natin yung scientific term na reflection. So, reflection is the bouncing off of light rays when it hits a surface like a plane mirror. So, merong isang light ray o light rays at mag-hit o tatama siya sa isang surface. So, example nun ay plane mirror. And then, yung light ray na yun ay magbabounce off. So, let's say, pwede siyang mag-bounce back doon sa mismong plane mirror. At meron itong i-create na dalawang separate na rays. And discuss natin later yung anatomy ng reflection pagdating sa law of reflection mamaya. Yan, ito ulit yung cute na babae na tinitignan niya po yung kanyang image dun sa mismong mirror. So, tinitignan niya yung sarili niya and then nakita niya yung kanyang reflection. Okay. So, now, define natin at i-discuss din natin what is law of reflection. So, ano ba itong law of reflection? So, law of reflection states that the angle of reflection is equal to the law o to the angle of incidence. Yan po yung ating illustration. As you can see, on the right side, yung nakikita niyo po ditong part na to, this is the shiny side of the mirror. O this is the part of the mirror yung nakaharap sa atin. Kung saan tayo, tinitingnan natin yung sarili natin. So that the shiny side of the mirror. And then the dull side of the mirror, nandun sa likuran. Now, kapag may isang ray that will hit on the surface of the mirror, ang tawag po natin doon ay incident ray. So itong blue line na to, o yung may parang blue arrow. So this incident ray hits the shiny side of the mirror. Since we are talking about the process of reflection, itong light na to ay magbabounce off at pupunta sa kabilang side. Kung ang particular na mirror ang ginagamit natin ay shiny side, so gagawa po ito ng reflected ray. So ang reflected ray ay equal sa incident ray. And then makita nyo sa gitna, merong broken line. This is what we call the normal line. Now, we also discussed that the angle of incidence, which is the angle referring to the angle of this incident ray to this normal line, is equal to the angle of reflection, which is an angle made by the reflected ray in reference with the normal line. So, reflection in a plane mirror, it simply tells us that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. Yan. So, move tayo. Meron tayo ditong nakasulat na A, the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. Yan po, yung theta I and theta R. Both of them are equal. And the incident ray, the normal line, and the reflected ray lie in the same plane. It should be, they are lying on the same plane dapat. Another illustration po of law of reflection. Ito po yung incident ray. And then magbabounce off siya at pupunta sa ibang direction. This is the incident ray at nagkaroon ng angle of incidence at equal po siya sa angle of reflection. Yan po. Let's move to the next slide. Yan. So define muna natin what is incident ray. The incident ray, grade 10 learners, this is the ray of light approaching to the mirror represented by an arrow approaching an optical element like mirrors. So ito yung kulay blue na to. So ngayon dinidiscuss natin at ini-establish natin yung mga fundamental concepts on optics. Kaya kailangan maintindihan natin ito in full details. So ito yung incident ray na mag-a-approach doon sa optical element katulad ng mga salamin or mirrors. Now, ano naman yung reflected rays? So yung reflected ray, ito naman yung ray of light which leaves the mirror and represented by an arrow pointing away from the mirror. So, palayo na siya ng salamin o yung mirror. So, this is what we call the reflected ray. And then, since silang dalawang rays na to, the incident ray and the reflected rays, ay gumawa ng kanya-kanyang angle or angle of incidence and angle of reflection. Now, yung pinakagitna, which is the normal line, this is an imaginary line that can be drawn perpendicular to the surface. So since ito yung normal line o yung represented by broken line, ito naman yung ating surface which referring to the mirror. And then mag-create ito ng perpendicular line. Perpendicular dito sa surface. So, syempre nag-create ito ng 90 degrees. So now, itong incident ray na to, kung gaano man siya ka-elevated o kung gaano ang slope niya, so equal din dito sa magiging reflected ray. So this is an ideal. Ideal po ito kapag gumagamit tayo ng ganitong klaseng mirror. Okay, discuss natin bakit siya ideal kasi meron tayong dalawang types ng reflection kasi. Okay, now, ito maganda. I-analyze natin. I have here two pictures of ano po ito, no? Merong bodies of water, may bodies of land. So on the left side, this is a picture showing the smooth water surface. Ito po yung sa baba. So meron siyang reflection. Kasi dito sa baba, sa left side, yung water ay hindi po masyadong wavy, hindi maalon. So nag-create ito ng magandang reflection. So smooth water surface. Now, on the right side, yung mapapansin natin dito, yung surface naman ng tubig ay medyo ano siya, no? Hindi mo makita yung reflection ng mountain dito sa taas. Kasi na watery, wavy water yung surface dito. So, siguro dahil hindi maganda yung panahon, kaya maalon dito sa side na to, kaya hindi natin nakita yung maayos yung reflection. So, ano ba ang gusto niyang i-discuss sa atin? Kasi meron tayong dalawang types of reflection. So, discuss muna natin siya. The types of reflection are the following. Number one, the regular reflection or the specular reflection. So, when we say regular reflection, this is the type of reflection on the smooth surface such as mirror or a calm body of water. So, kapag ganun, ang type ng reflection, kitang-kita natin na maayos at maganda or smooth yung reflection. So, yung baga, kung ano yung nakikita natin dito sa taas, yan. Diba, great and learners, nakikita rin natin sa baba. Kasi, yung reflection dito ay regular. So, ibig sabihin, maayos yung angle of incidence dun sa angle din ng reflected rays. So, maayos yung appearance ng reflection. Kasi, okay yung ano dito, nagiging type ng reflection. Kasi nga, hindi masyado magalaw yung tubig. Pero syempre, makikita rin natin yung ganong klase ng reflection syempre sa mga salamin o yung mga plane mirrors natin. Yan. Let's move now to the second type of reflection. Pero mag-show muna tayo ng isa pang picture, no? Yan. So, kanina kung picture naman sa parang real-life picture, ito naman on diagramming. So, in specular reflection or yung regular reflection, makikita natin na yung mga parallel lines referring to this one on the left side, diba ang tawag natin dito ay incident rays. Ito mga parallel lines na to. Dahil maayos yung surface dito, very smooth, nagkikreate ito ng specular or regular reflection. So, maganda din yung bato ng reflected rays. Maganda siya. Kaya yung mga parallel lines bouncing off away from the mirror o yung tinatawag natin na reflected rays, maganda din yung direction niya. And parallel siya. Kaya automatically makikita natin dun sa appearance ng reflection niya ay maayos at maganda yung picture ng kung ano man, kung ano yung nagre-reflect dun sa ating mirror o kaya ito yung calm bodies of water. Parallel lights or parallel light rays reflect in one direction. So, yan yung qualitative characteristic ng isang specular reflection o yung tinatawag natin na regular reflection. Another type of reflection is yan, the diffuse or irregular reflection. So, this is a reflection of light on rough surface such as clothing, paper, wavy water, and asphalt roadway. So, magkakaroon na tayo ng basic idea kung paano ang irregular reflection o yung diffuse reflection. Ganyan siya. So, kapag maalon yung tubig, so hindi masyadong, yung stagnant yung water, so hindi natin makita maayos yung reflection na nandito sa taas. Yes, makikita pa natin ng clearly yung mismo reflection, kaya lang hindi natin masyado ma-appreciate kasi hindi katulad kanina sa regular reflection na talagang kopyang-kopya yung nasa taas ng sa baba. So yan, usually nangyayari po ito kapag yung incident ray ay tumama sa mga rough surface katulad ng sa damit natin, paper, wavy water o kaya sa asphalt roadway. Sa diagramming naman, ganito siya. So kapag tumama yung parallel light rays, which are what we call the incident rays, ayan, nagulo na dahil rough na yung surface, kung saan na pumupunta yung mismong ano po, yung refracted rays. Kung may paakyat, may pa-left, may pababa, may kung saan man papunta, ay magulo na. Kaya hindi na siya nagbibigay sa atin ng maayos na reflection. Kaya yan po yung second type ng reflection, the diffuse reflection. Again, the two types of reflection are, meron tayong specular reflection, also known as regular reflection. Ang qualitative characteristics niya, nagbibigay ito ng magandang reflection. Yung diffuse reflection naman ay tinatawag natin na irregular reflection because of rough surfaces, ganyan ang kanyang qualitative characteristic. Okay? So again, good afternoon po sa mga grade 10 learners. Maraming salamat po sa pagtutok sa ating ETULay tutor. So, maaari nyo rin pong subaybayan po ang mga ETULay tutors po sa iba't ibang subject. Meron po tayong Monday hanggang Friday. So, lahat po ng subjects from kinder to senior high school, lahat po covered namin. Kaya, suportahan niyo po kami at kami po ang walang sawang aagapay sa inyo sa pagtutok sa ating mga SLM at kung may mga question po kayo sa inyong mga self-learning modules, kami pong mga ETULay tutors niyo po ay handa pong tumulong para sa inyo. So, ano lang po, tutok lang po tayo sa ating DepEd FB pages po natin na kung saan tayo po ay nag-live. Yan. So, parallel light rays reflect in different directions. Yan po yung sinasabi ng illustration dyan sa slide natin. Now, let's move now to the type of mirror or mirrors. Una-una, we also like to establish muna para sa optics kasi marami tayong mirrors na nakita. And then eventually, kailangan mabigyan natin ito ng tamang knowledge or skills ang mga bata tungkol sa mga types of mirrors. Kasi magagamit talaga nila ito. So sa plane mirror, this is a type of mirror with flat or planar reflected surface. So usually ito yung mga mirrors na ginagamit po natin sa bahay. So nakita niyo sa picture, no? Ito po ay isang plane mirror na nagbibigay siya ng reflection. Ito yung pattern ito. So kung ano man yung nakikita natin dito ay merong reflection doon na inilalabas po ng plane mirror. So sa plane mirror, usually makikita natin yan sa sa bathroom, meron yan sa loob ng ating bahay, sa sala, and meron din tayo usually mga mirrors na ginagamit, no? Lalagay natin sa bag kung gusto natin makita yung sarili natin bago tayo lumabas or pumasyal. So usually ginagamit po tayo ng mga ganitong plane mirrors. Next, ano yung mga characteristics or qualitative characteristics of images formed by plane mirror? Isa-isahin po natin, grade 10 learners. Okay. Letter A, images are always virtual, which is formed by extending reflected light rays backward until it intersects. So, ganyan po. So, meron tayo ditong illustration to show that the images are always virtual. Lahat ng mga plane mirrors, ang kanyang ibibigay na reflection po or images ay virtual. When the man is standing upright, his image is also upright. Now, pero makikita natin dito na the image form in a plane mirror has the same orientation. So, upright pa rin yung basketball player. Hindi siya nakatiwari o hindi siya naka-turn upside down. So, yung paa niya, nandun pa rin. Yung isang paa niya nakatapak sa sa surface. At yung isa naman, yun. And then the ball, hawak din naman niya. Kaya mapapansin natin yung mismong no? Kung titingnan natin dito, yung bola ay nasa left. Kung ako ang titingin sa screen, so nasa left. So, hawak niya sa kanang kamay niya. Kung ito po ang pinag-usapan natin. Pero pag ako ang titingin, sa side ko, ang ball ay nasa left ko. And then, dito sa reflection niya, using the plane mirror, yung bola ay nasa right side. Parang ang bola ngayon ay hawak niya on his left hand. So yun po yung usual na nagiging qualitative characteristics ng plane mirror kapag naglabas na siya ng reflection. Pero, upright yung position and same orientation. Now, ito rin po. So, another good illustration, no? So, ito yung tao o yung object. And then, this is the smooth side of mirror. Ito nakita natin mga lines na to, these are the rough side ng mirror o yung dull side ng mirror. So, syempre, dahil sa incident ray, magkakaroon ng reflected ray. Ito po yan. Now, yung image nito, the distance from the mirror, yung object, which is the D, is the distance from the mirror to the image. So, again, ano po yan, kapag plane mirror, equal yan. The distance from the object to the mirror and the distance from the mirror to the image. So, dapat equal siya. Since we are talking about plane mirrors. Don't forget that. So, this is the image form in a plane mirror. Another, images are erect or upright. Same illustration. So, erect, upright. So, hindi magbabago dapat yan. If we are pertaining to reflection or images formed by plane mirror. Next is, images formed by plane mirror are of same shape and size as that of the object. Yan, same pa rin, same illustration. So, same shape, same size as that of the original object. So, yung images niya or image na form sa plane mirror, dapat same shape and same size. Next, image distance is the same as object distance. Yun ulit. So, kita natin, yung distance niya or the image distance is the same as the object distance. So, from the distance dito, no, ito lang yung ating pointer. So, yung distance niya papunta dun sa mirror ay dapat equal din dun sa image form. So, the image distance is the same as the object distance. Parehong-pareho lang dapat. Okay. So, tignan natin po yung ating ito po, ang ating SLM. So, since nasa po tayo, no, pabalikan lang natin ang isa pang week. Wait lang. So, ito po, sa week number 6, pertaining to plane mirror, ayan po. Ito ulit yung kanina, yung diffuse irregular reflection. Ayan. So now, next type of mirror is the curved mirror. So ito po, babalikan lang natin ulit. Sa plane mirror kanina, nilatag natin lahat ng qualitative characteristic. So, kailangan same shape, same size, virtual, erect, upright. So now, sa type ng mirror na to, tinatawag nating spherical mirror or the curved mirror. The reflecting surface in which its surface is a section of a sphere. Ayan. So, makikita natin, no, yung si ate dito, ay meron siyang ginawa pong parang situation na itinaas niya yung kamay niya, and then napansin natin dun sa mismong image na form sa type ng mirror na to, lumaki yung kanyang kamay. So, ang laki, sobrang laki talaga. Mas malaki dun sa original niyang kamay. So, basically, we cannot assume na ito ay isang plane mirror. Kasi ang plane mirror, sinasabi nila sa atin, qualitatively ay dapat ang shape niya at ang size niya ay pareho sa image na mabubuo. Pero dito, sa nakita nating image, sobrang laki ng image niya. So this is what we call a type of mirror na tinatawag natin na curved mirror or spherical mirror. At ang curved mirror na to ay nahati pa sa dalawa. Kung narinig niyo na yung convex mirror at concave mirror. Yan yung pag-aaralan din natin today. So now, itong mirror na to ay gawa siya sa section ng sphere. Kaya ganyan ang kanyang quantitative characteristic. So pag sinabi natin concave at convex, kailangan ma-distinguish natin yung difference ng dalawa. Pag sinabi natin concave mirror, ito yung kanyang itsura. So, ganito po yung bato ng mga rays. So, itong tinatawag natin na converging mirror. Converging kasi yung mga rays ay nagmi-meet dito. So, nagkakaroon sila ng section dito na nagmi-meet silang lahat. Okay? So, meron dito na incident ray. Ito yung nakikita niyo yung parallel lines. Ito po, no, parallel lines. And then, kapag tumama na sa mirror na to, o yung tinatawag natin converging mirror, magre-reflect, at magbabato siya ng reflected ray, yan. At mag-meet sila dito sa letter F. Kaya sila tinawag na converging mirror. Ito pong concave mirror. On the other hand, the next type of mirror are convex mirrors. So this is also known as diverging mirror. So syempre, opposite ng converging, diverging. So, nakikita natin na yung bato nito, mga parallel light rays na to, yung tawag natin na incident rays, at kapag nag-reflect na siya, yun, hindi sila nag-meet sa isang part o sa isang area. So, nagda-divert na siya. So, hindi na siya nag-meet sa isang part lang. So, that's the difference between concave and convex mirror. Now, the concave mirror, it is a curved mirror in which the reflected surface bulges away from the light surface. It is called converging mirror because the parallel incident ray converge or meet or intersect at a focal point after the reflection. Ito po yun. The convex mirror naman, in which the reflective surface bulges towards the light source. It is called diverging mirror because the parallel incident rays diverge after reflection. When extending the reflected rays behind the mirror, the rays converge at the focus behind the mirror. So makikita natin yung mismong image form, yung pagkakaiba nilang dalawa. So makikita natin. Now, qualitatively, kailangan ma-distinguish natin to using ray diagram. Isa sa mga mga concepts talaga ng grade 10, lalo na sa optics, ay isa sa mga skills na dapat na matutunan ng mga grade 10 learners ay itong ray diagram. Although we are dealing with MELCs, napansin namin na medyo umikse yung ray diagramming topics. Unlike sa EM waves, ang dami pong weeks. Pero nevertheless, wala tayong choice doon na kundi sundin na lang talaga yung MELCs. Kaya itong ray diagramming kailangan maintindihan din ng bata na medyo kasi ito technical. Pero tignan natin ng slide at bigyan natin ito ng simpleng atake pagdating dito sa ray diagramming. So we are dealing with ray diagramming sa concave at sa convex mirror. So let me read lang po ito sa mga guidelines. When a ray strikes concave or convex mirrors obliquely at its poles, it is reflected obliquely. When a ray parallel to principal axis strikes concave or convex mirrors, the reflected ray passes through the focus on the principal axis. So explain ko yan later. When a ray passing through focus strikes concave or convex mirror, the reflected ray will pass parallel to the principal axis. A ray passing through the center of curvature of the spherical mirror will retrace its path after reflection. So these are, ito po yung mga images na na-form. Depende po kung nasan yung object. So when you say it depends on the position of the object, kasi we need to consider the 6. By changing the position of the object from the concave mirror, different types of images can be formed. Different types of images are formed when the object is placed in the following situations. Now, so don't forget na ang dinidiscuss muna natin ay concave mirror. Concave, no? So, pag sinabing concave mirror, ito po yung converging mirror. So, meron tayong 6 at the infinity, beyond the center of curvature, at the center of curvature, between the center of curvature and the principal focus, at the principal focus, between the principal focus and pole. So explain natin to isa-isa. Yan. Kapag sinabi natin na infinity, so yung object ay nandito sa side na to. So nakita natin yung object ay upright, no? Nakatayo. So the concave mirror diagram, let's us understand when an object is placed at infinity, a real image is formed at the focus. The size of the image is much smaller compared to that object. So kung nandito yung object sa infinity, so we are expecting that the image or the size of the image is smaller compared to the original object. So maliit siya. Okay? Next, when the object is placed behind the center of curvature, this is C, behind the center of curvature, behind, a real image is formed between the center of curvature and focus. The size of the image is smaller than compared of the object. Ito po kasi yung nabubuong image. Itong naka-turn upside down na arrow. Yung arrow head niya nasa baba. So, ibig sabihin, yung size o yung laki ng image niya ay definitely mas maliit doon sa mismong object, sa nire-reflector niya. So, that's pertaining to object placed behind the center of curvature. Next, when the object is placed at the center of the curvature and focus, real image is formed at the center of curvature. The size of the image is the same as compared to that of the object. And take note with that, the size of the image is the same as compared to that of the object. Again, when the object is placed at the center of the curvature and focus. Okay. Next, when the object is placed in between the center of curvature and focus, ito po yung ano po, the real image is formed behind the center of curvature. The size of the image is smaller than compared to that object. Okay. Next po, when the object is placed at the focus, the real image is formed at the infinity. The size of the image is much larger than compared to that of the object. So, kapag ang object po ay naka-place na din sa focus, yung real image niya na mabubuo ay sa infinity. And the size of the image is definitely larger than compared to that object, yung original object. When an object is placed in between focus and pole, a virtual image or a virtual and erect image is formed. The size of the image is larger than compared to that of the object. So yan kung dinidiscuss natin po ay dito po yan, no, galing sa SLM. And then, ang maganda lang dito ay in-explain niya kasi isa-isa kung ano ang magiging type ng image niya. It depends doon sa ano po, yung position ng object. So again, these are the 6 positions po at the infinity beyond the center of curvature hanggang sa pinakadulo between the principal focus and the pole. Now, sa susunod na type naman ng mirror, which is the convex mirror, okay, dito po tayo muna. The image formed in a convex mirror is always virtual and erect. Whatever the position of the object in this section, so just look on the type of images formed by a convex mirror. So convex na tayo. When an object is placed at infinity, a virtual image is formed at the focus. The size of the image is much smaller than compared to that of the object. So maliit yung size o yung size ng image ay definitely smaller compared dun sa object. When an object is placed at finite distance from the mirror, a virtual image is formed between the pole and the focus of the convex mirror. The size of the image is smaller compared to that of the object. So usually yan po yung mga formation ng convex mirror kapag nagkaroon ng ganitong klaseng ano po, types of images formed when the object is placed at the infinity at yung isa naman at finite distance from the mirror. So So learning task number 1. So let's move. Image in a plane mirror. Stand in front of a plane mirror. So let's assume meron tayong plane mirror na nasa tabi natin. Is your image exactly the same in size as you are, where it is apparently found? So since we are talking about images formed in a plane mirror, na-discuss natin kanina yung mga qualitative characteristics niya. A real image is inverted image, a virtual image is an erect image. So kapag sinabi natin virtual image, erect yung image. And then kapag naka-turn upside down or inverted, that's what we call real image. So number 2, kindly consider this. Raise your left hand. Yan, raise your left hand. So that is my left, no? What hand does your image raise? So pag tinignan natin dun sa mirror, ang tinatanong niya, anong hand daw yung nakita natin na image dun sa mirror? Question number 3. Is your image erect or inverted? So, tinatanong kung yung image ba na napo-form dun sa plane mirror, yung nakikita nating reflection ay, ito ba ay erect or inverted? And then, follow-up question, is it real or virtual? So, pag sinabing real image, ito ba ay inverted image ba yung itsura natin pag tumatapat sa mirror? Or virtual image naman kapag erect image. So, yan. So, that is a learning task number 1, image on the plane mirror, found on page 23. Okay, learning task number 2, mirror left, right, reversal. Yan, naalala ko na rin itong mga ganitong klaseng activity. Using the following, alphabet chart written in a piece of paper, and then with the use of plane mirror, we're going to do the following. Letter number 1. Place the alphabet chart in front of the plane mirror. Identify all capital letters in the alphabet that can be read properly in front of the mirror. Number 2. Write at least 3 words, all in capital letters, that can be read properly both with a mirror and without a mirror in front of it. So, dapat maliwanag yung mga instructions, no? Meron tayong alphabet chart na nakalagay in front of the plane mirror. Tapos, identify natin yung mga capital letters din sa alphabet para mabasa natin. And then, magsusulat tayo at least 3 words, lahat naka all caps or capital letters. At dapat nababasa ito properly with both mirror and without a mirror in front of it. Ito yung mga guide questions. What are the letters of the alphabet in capital letters can be read properly in a front of mirror? Ano ba yung mga letters na yun? So, capital letter A, capital letter O, yung mga ganong klaseng letters na kahit nasa harap ng mirror, same pa din yung reflection niya o yung image niya. Number 2, think of words in capital letters that can be read properly both with a mirror or without a mirror. What are these words? Ayan, merong term para dyan. Okay. Number 3, write the sentence below on a clear sheet of paper in such a way that it can be read properly in front of a mirror. So those are the guide questions for learning task number 2. And then for learning task 3, image in spherical mirror with the use of spoon or yung kutsara. Get a shiny metallic spoon. This can serve as your mirror. Look at the concave mirror, yung inside part. Yung saan natin ilalagay yung kanin, yung pagkain, no? Yung surface niya na inside part niya. Place the mirror very near on your face. Describe your image. Pwede natin gawing experiment. So number 3, bring the spoon an arm length distance from you and describe the image. Number 4, look now at the convex or the outside part, surface of the spoon, and observe your image. As you bring the spoon farther from you, describe your image. So that's the 3rd learning task, image on spherical mirror. And then learning task 4, dito na lang muna tayo. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Number 1, look at the picture at the right. Ito po. What is in the picture? Why is it that the word ambulance is written that way? So nakasulat siya ng paganito. Bakit daw nakasulat yung salitang ambulance sa ganitong paraan? Ayan. So those are learning tasks 1 2, 3, and 4. And I hope you learn something more on qualitative characteristics of mirror. And inaasahan ko po na magkita-kita po tayo sa susunod na Monday as we move to the next week of our Science 10 for this type of lesson. Itutuloy lang natin ito pagdating naman sa lenses. So kung wala na pong question, so maraming salamat po sa pagtutok sa ating ETULay online tutorial. And then, again, kita-kits po. Paalam!
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETULay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula alauna ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETULay free online tutorial session sa English. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETULay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!